Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, welcome wherever you're joining me from in the world. I'm Jack Tarlad, this is my ship, the Salt Pig. Welcome aboard. Well, we got a lot to get through this week. We've taken another hiatus last week because I had the lurgy, and I've still got the lurgy. I don't know whether you can hear it in my voice, but I'm dithering like a shitting dog right now. It's so cold. And the cold outside don't help much, which we're going to talk about a little bit today. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, I think we're going to take a little look into like the Twitter files a little bit later, because everyone's been covering it, yeah. So I'm not going to be going deep into the, all the ins and outs of it. Loads of people all over the internet are already covering that. I'm going to be talking about what it actually means for society and how are we going to move forward from this. I also want to take a look into British Heraldry and the whole sort of thing around the established title scam. I mean, as a Brit, if you know anything about peerages and heraldry, you could see that it was a scam a mile off. And so I want to talk about that anyway. What else did I say we were going? Oh, nuclear fusion. Yeah, we've got some breakthroughs in nuclear fusion. Well, we say we got some breakthroughs in nuclear fusion. I don't want to piss on anyone's chips, but it's not the breakthrough that you think it might be. Anyway, before I start, when I first started the channel, I did ask people if they had any problems or issues or any life advice that they wanted to sort of, share, and it could be anonymously. All you got to do is send an email to tarladjack@outlook.com. And Auntie Jack will be your shoulder to cry on. It's a future segment that I want to do called Auntie Jack, and I will play your agony aunt. So if you do want to send any life problems, anything that you're struggling with, and I will try to give my honest opinion as your agony aunt and the best advice that I could possibly give. So that's tarladjack@outlook.com. Also, you're going to have to bear with me, boys and girls, because I am running on one monitor at the moment. I usually have a big 49-inch TV screen in front of me here, but right now I'm on this very small monitor, and it's the only one that I've got at the minute, because the other night me and my daughter were here in the living room playing, and we had a couple of lightsabers, and I was being the big, strong adult and thinking that I'm all big and everything, fighting with my 5-year-old daughter and getting a perfect envelope on her lightsaber and flinging it out of her hands. Yeah. So the lightsaber ended up going into the TV, and now I no longer have a TV. So yeah, whoops. But and it's a pretty expensive TV. It's curved screen, 49-inch, and the screen is more to repair than the cost of the actual TV. You just wouldn't get the parts, and plus the labor. It's dead now, so it's just sitting there waiting for me to take it down the tip. So the point is, don't be such a cocky little bastard when you're playing with your kids, because you might end up putting a lightsaber through your TV. And don't play in front of your TV. Simple as that. But for now, anyway, we're stuck on this one monitor because of that. I feel also like at the moment I'm getting some heavy popping or noise compression every time I say plosives and essence. It sounds like I'm popping a little bit. So I've just turned that down a little bit. We'll see how that goes. I don't see anyone in the chat, but if you are lurking, welcome. Hello. Thank you for joining us tonight. You can find me on Twitter at JackTarLad. I post randomly, I post all sorts of things and I post randomly. We will be looking through Twitter in a bit as well because I want to take a look at some of what's trending. There's a news article that came up whilst I was preparing this stream for broadcast. There was an article that came up about the COVID tax fraud department that was set up by the British government, and now they're being disbanded over the next year, and there's still like £3.5 billion missing or something like that. So I want to go through that with you. Am I still connected? Yeah, I can see myself on this screen. Yeah, sorry. So you are, like I said, you are going to have to bear with me because I've had a couple of technical difficulties. And so, yeah, there's that. Right, what are we going to start on? Oh, yeah, established titles. So, obviously, lots of people have covered established titles over the last week. If you don't know who established titles are, they're a company who promise the title of a lordship with the purchase of a plot of land in Scotland. And so if you're from the UK and you are educated about such things, I guess, then you would know that that's complete bollocks, because you can't just bestow a peerage on someone, basically. You can't just bestow a lordship on someone. It goes way, way deeper into British tradition than that. Or more importantly, it's each individual country in the United Kingdom. They've got their own little, heraldries and peerages. Like Scotland is a little bit different to England, I guess. But just by purchasing a tiny piece of land cannot grant you a peerage. I mean, it has to go through a whole process of things, which we're going to get into in a second. But established titles themselves, that's like the brand face of a company, like a parent company. And it's something like "come fail with us" or something like that. Let me just, I should have prepared it, but I didn't. Hang on. Right, so who's that? Galton Voisey, is that what they're saying it is? It was something else. It's like, no, this isn't right. I saw it on and someone else's video. It might have been CoffeeZilla. It could have been, anyone who's been covering these things. Basically, it's this company, and they've got something. Their name is something like "come fail with us" or something like that. Anyway, and the whole idea of this company is that they've got several, like, I don't know, maybe about 100 brands that they've launched, like 100 ideas with 100 brands, and only like 5% of them actually make money and take off, but the rest of them fail. And so this established titles brand that is under this company is one of the ones that works. And another one that comes under this company is that Kamikoto knives. And so it turns out that Kamikoto knives are not like traditional Japanese steel. It's just, mass-produced cheap-ass knives that you can buy from China, and they've just branded them with this backstory. And that's the majority of marketing and branding anyway. It's like, make it seem older than it is, make it seem traditional, make it seem as though it's something that can last forever and it's been around forever. That's the whole point of it. You think that the dolmio pasta sauce that you eat, the way that they present it, oh yeah, maybe the finest, vegetables from Italy and yada yada. It's like, you really think they're sourcing their tomatoes from Italy? Do you really think it's made in the traditional ways? It's made in big fucking vats. Do you know what I mean? And so this is the point. It's the way you brand things and rebrand things. Yeah, here's one for you. WD-40. Have you ever sprayed WD-40? And that smell that it has. Go and find some furniture polish and spray that. The stuff that makes your wood shine. Go spray some of that and smell the difference. There is no difference because it's the same fucking thing. It's just been rebranded. So anyway, yeah, Established Titles is under this company where they've got a whole bunch of brands that have failed, or a whole bunch of brand ideas that have failed, and Established Titles, Kamikoto knives. There's a couple of others as well. These are ones that have taken off. But basically, it's just a clever branding wrapped up with, like in the Established Titles one, it's all based on Scottish tradition, the Scottish tradition of, a landowner becoming a laird. It's like, fuck off. If you knew anything about Scotland, laird is just the way that they say lord. Okay, doesn't mean anything really. It's just their way of saying lord, the laird and the lady. It's just their way of saying. And a lot of the time, the people, I say a lot of the time, some of the time, the people who owned the land weren't actually lords or have peerages. It's just what the people who lived on the land called the lord of the manor, the laird. It's the same here in England. I grew up on a manor, or like an ancient manor, if you will. I grew up on Gano Manor, and years and years and years ago, there was a manor house there, and it was surrounded by farms, and there was a moat around the manor house, as many manor houses did back then. It was, and now it's a cultural heritage site, and you can actually still see the moat, and there's like a plaque in front of it where the manor house used to be, yada yada. And so the person who owned that land, actually, funnily enough, the Boleyns used to own that land, because there's actually a road named after them, Boleyn Road. So the Boleyn family, I think it was Thomas Boleyn and Boleyn's father, he was lord of the manor in Gano Manor back during the Henry VIII days, obviously. And so, yeah, in Scotland, it was just literally lord of the manor, the laird. But it doesn't get, so if like you buy a square foot of land and you think that now you're entitled to a peerage. I mean, these are bestowed on you by royal sort of privilege, or that look, we're going to get into it now. So let me just switch over to the interwebs. Oh, what's going on here? Oh no, I forgot to set up the scaling. Motherfucker. Oh dear. What have I done? Oh, look what you've done to yourself now, Jack. Chrome window, that's the one that I want. Let's see. Oof. I don't like how that's happened. Oh shit. All right, we're gonna stick with it like that for now. I should have looked into that. It's because I've lost my TV. I'm on this one. That was working on like 380 90, 38 90, and this is on 1920. So that was like super high resolution, you know what I mean? And this is just standard definition there. So it's completely messed up all of my scaling. Anyway, I tell you what, we'll stretch it to there a little bit. Maybe I can edit the transform so that the bottom clips out. That's going to take forever. 100, maybe that'll do it. 120. Here we go. I do apologize for the technical difficulties, everybody, if you're watching. So anyway, let's go to the actual web page. Oh my God. This has just completely failed on us now. I should have done this before the stream started. Christ. You can't see that properly, can you? Yeah. I do apologize. Like I'm saying, I do apologize for the the technical difficulties right now, but yeah, right, we'll see if that works any better. Right, so English heraldry. That's like coats of arms and stuff. My family name has a coat of arms, but it's not like I'm entitled to a lordship or anything like that. It's just at some point, somebody with my surname, and I'm not going to tell you my surname because that would be doxing myself, obviously. But at some point in history, there was someone who was of notable, stature and status in society with my surname, and they were granted the privilege of having a coat of arms made, and this is all determined by like the Royal, I think it's the Royal College of Arms. Yeah, the College of Arms. Here we go. I've got the other page right here. College of Arms. It says the College of Arms, or Herald's College, is a royal corporation consisting of professional officers of arms, with jurisdiction over England, Wales, Northern Ireland, and some Commonwealth realms. The heralds are appointed by the British sovereign, meaning the Queen or the King, and are delegated authority to act on behalf of the Crown. So they're appointed by the Crown to act on behalf of the Crown. So rather than the King having to say, yeah, you can have a coat of arms, yada yada, these people look at the person who's applying for the heraldry and they look at their history, their family history, their lineage, and they will be able to determine whether their sort of status allows them to have a coat of arms. Act on behalf of the Crown in all matters of heraldry, the granting of new coats of arms, genealogical research, and the recording of pedigrees, meaning, your parents, their your grandparents, their parents, so on. And that's a lot of people as well, because I mean, if you just go by the pedigree, meaning 1 to 2 to 4 to 8, that's powers of 2, that is. So it's that, like, first generation you, then your parents, that's So then there's 2. So it goes 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. So in 6 generations, or in 6 lines, there are now 32 people in that line. So it's, the further back you go, your pedigree just gets wider and wider and wider, and it's always, exponential. Powers of 2, think about it. And that doesn't even count all the aunts and uncles and all of their pedigrees. And do you get what I mean? So anyway, there has to be like a lineage of notable status. So yada yada yada, where were we? The college is also the official body responsible for matters relating to the flying of flags on land, and it maintains the official registers of flags and other symbols. Though a part of the royal household of the United Kingdom, the college is self-financed, unsupported by any public funds. Which is nice. I mean, but at the same time, I wouldn't mind funding something like that. It keeps traditions alive. And look, I'm not a lord. I'm not like a fucking notable person. I understand that there are people in my country that are of higher status than me. And that I am below them in that sort of hierarchy. I'm one of the plebs. And it's okay, There are people that are higher in status than you. Tough shit. I mean, all right, he's not a lord or anything, but just look at Andrew Tate, the fucking arrogant fucker he is. Yeah? He's made of money. Yeah? He's completely self-made. Made of money. He has higher status than me. Yeah? There are people out there that have higher status than me. But he's not a lord or anything. And I guess what the point that I'm trying to get at here is, I'm happy to have these traditions in my country. It is something that has come through hundreds and hundreds of years of tradition. It like hundreds and hundreds of years of societal changes. I mean, just look at how different society is today compared with how it was 300-400 years ago. And this is one of the things that has survived all that time. It's a part of being British, And another fun thing about it is, I've already said my family name has a coat of arms. It's nice to sort of, you go to souvenir places and you see a coat, you look for like a coat of arms on a fridge magnet, for example, and it's like, oh, that's my family name, that is, and that's our coat of arms. It ain't your fucking coat of arms. It was that person's coat of arms, that the person who owned your family name back then, who had the same family name as you back then. He was the one who was granted, or she was it's usually he was the one who's granted the coat of arms, not you. So you don't have any right to use it or call it your family coat of arms. Okay? But it's still nice to pretend. We can still go to the souvenir shop and say, oh, look, got our family name on it and our family crest. You stick it up on your fridge. Oh, that's fucking great, that is. It means nothing really to anybody else, but it means something to you. And you've always got to have something for yourself. I always say that you've got to have something, I say something. You've got to have some things for yourself. Anyway, I digress. Back to the heraldry. So it's the same, here we go. The College of Arms is the people who, sort of do all your genealogy and check out whether or not you're worthy of a coat of arms, and then you'll be granted one as agents of the crown. The king or queen, they're speaking directly for them. And so, so I'm not going to go into all of the history of this or anything like that. My point is that you're not just entitled to things. because maybe you bought a plot of land. You want to be called a fucking lord now. No, sorry, it doesn't work like that. But the question I've got is, if I knew that, and I should really be part of it because I didn't really speak out about it in the sense of I didn't make any videos going, well, this has got to be a scam. I just couldn't be asked to go do the deep dive into established titles, I guess. It didn't bother me that much, and lots of other people have already done it now. But I guess my point is, it's like when I saw it, and like I see it on the beginning of all of these YouTube videos, the little, you know, sponsorship, and I'm like, they're talking about lords and ladies. Oh, become a lord or a lady, and you can. It's like, yeah, okay, mate, yeah, whatever. And that's the sort of, I guess, the sort of way that everyone's dealt with it. But I guess my question is, why did this not come out sooner? I mean, anyone who's British should know that you can't just become a lord by buying a plot of land, because otherwise the whole fucking country would be full of lords. There are people who buy small plots of land, but it's usually that the whole area of land is actually owned by someone else who is of higher status than you. It's almost like you've purchased the lease on that part of the land. So you own it for like 100 years or something. You've purchased the lease on that land for 100 years. And it actually belongs to someone else who is of higher status than you. Even the people who run established titles, if they've bought a really large swathe of land, right, and they're portioning it up into parcels, you know, of a foot, and they're selling it onto you, not even those guys can call themselves a lord or a lady, because they still don't really own the ground that they've bought. They've purchased a lease for 100 years. I keep saying 100 years. Could be a little bit more. I think it's about 100 years though. You sort of basically purchasing the lease on the land, and then you're free to do with that land whatever you wish, I guess, within reason. But it doesn't entitle you to a lordship. It doesn't entitle you to a peerage. Just switch over to the peerages. Here we go. So the peerages in the United Kingdom. The peerages are a legal system comprising of both of heraldry and lifetime titles, composed of various noble ranks and forming a constituent part of the British honours system. The term peerage can be used both collectively to refer to the entire body of nobles or a subdivision thereof, and individually to refer to the specific title. Modern English language style. Am I reading too much of this? Hang on. British peerage title holders are termed peers of the realm. And so, like, all of these, like, let's go through a few of them. You got like you can be a baron, and that's like I think one of the lowest tiers of the peerage, apart from like the lords and ladies of parliament. But I think they are baronesses and barons and baronesses. I thought this one had the list. Do you know what? I absolutely hate going through the web pages. You know, I've tried to style this channel on a lot of other people, you know, like, and the way that they do it. You see a lot of, like, Jeremy from the Quarter, and he'll have like an article up on his screen and he'll just read through it and then he'll give his opinion. I hate doing this because, especially on such a flipping small screen like this, because I can't hardly see it anyway. I've usually got it in gigantic print in front of me. Anyway, but look, you can go to Wikipedia. Anyone can go to Wikipedia. And I know you'll say, oh, it's only Wikipedia. Well, look, it's accurate enough in the majority of cases, okay? I'm not here for 100% fucking accuracy in the research that I'm doing. That's not what this channel is about. It's not about like giving you all the fucking grimy details. Let all the other YouTubers do that. What I'm trying to do is just give you like the talk through, the rundown. I just want to be able to, like, I'll read it beforehand and then I'll talk to you about it. But what I'm trying to do at the moment is I've already read it all beforehand, and then I'm trying to go through it again with you in images, just to make it more interesting for you, so you got something to look at rather than my fucking mug. But I guess, have I even turned it over? Yeah, I did. Okay. So anyway, getting back to the point, it's an entire legal system. You can't just buy a bit of land and then expect to be called a lord or a lady. Okay? And anyone in England who is educated would know those things. I mean, it's not something that you look into every day. It's not something that everybody's educated about. So I'm not saying that everybody in England should know about this, but a lot of people, if you know about British tradition, if you know about, anything to do with your fucking history, you'd know. Or just buying land. If you knew anything about buying land, you'd know that you weren't entitled to a lordship or any kind of peerage. And this is so here's something that I'm going to hit upon, is the ignorance of other cultures. So I'm gonna rag on you Yanks a bit now. So you Americans seem to have this sort of fucking fantastical idea of what the British sort of traditions are and background is. You hear all these stereotypical things on TV and yada yada, and you believe them, and some things are like myths that you've sort of passed to one another about shit. Like, for example, a lot of Americans think and say that the British drink warm beer. Now, that's half true. Okay, we have pubs, and in the pubs along the bar there are cold taps, right, with lager, Carling, for example, or cider, woodpecker, fucking bottles in the fridge of cider and lager, and maybe some what we call real ales are bottled and fridged. But that is where you're getting confused, right? Because real ale is traditional cask ale. The lagers and the bitters that you get that are in barrels, like aluminium barrels, those are meant for the automatic taps. You flick it on, it mixes the carbon dioxide and it keeps it chilled, and it pours a nice, refreshing, cold pint of lager or cider. Okay? But traditional cask ale is stored at cellar temperature, and that is how it's delivered. Because nobody wants an ice cold cask ale, because it's almost like the traditional cask ales are almost artisan. They're sometimes seasonal. And then there are ones that are produced all year round. But I'll tell you something, it's way stronger than lager or cider. It gets you pissed way quicker. And its taste, because they've all got lots of different tastes, obviously. They're all brewed with all different traditional hops. in certain combinations, and that's why they're seasonal, and they never always taste the same twice, if you get what I mean. Like each batch is just slightly different, and it's just got a different taste to it, and you don't want it to be ice cold because you want to be able to taste all of those aromas, and the cold reduces the aromas. So that's where you Americans are getting that, for example, wrong. That you think that all British people drink warm lager. No one drinks warm lager. That's fucking disgusting. It tastes like piss. I mean, lager itself tastes horrible anyway, even when it's cold. Which I'm fucking cold at the minute. I'm dithering like a shitting dog. So yeah, you Americans, you have these fantasy ideas of what the British traditions are and how British people act and what British people are up to all the fucking time. And it's not Hugh Grant in Notting Hill. It's not, fucking that character from Family Guy who fancies, what's her name? Fancies Lois, the English bloke. Ah, you've seen the episode. Anyway, you know the thing. Come on, man. So anyway, and so because of your ignorance and your unwillingness to, actually learn about things outside of your own fucking 400 years of history, you are open to being sort of manipulated by the sort of allure of, oh, look, I'm a Scottish lord now. Because you were fed a lie that was kind of plausible, but because you were fucking so ignorant about it, you didn't really take the time to look into it, and because it's such a regular part of the society for us, we were just sort of like, yeah, okay, whatever. That's got to be a souvenir. It's like naming a fucking star. Who came up with that one? That's a real money spinner, that is. Put your name on a register to have a star named after you. Are you fucking crazy? Come on, like who has the authority over space exactly? It's just wrapped up in a nice way. Oh, give it to a loved one for Christmas. Give it to a loved one for Valentine's Day. It's just the way that it's branded. Stop falling for the fucking branding. So look, yeah, this was only supposed to be really a short talk about established titles and British peerage and heraldry and shit like that. But what I'm telling you is that you don't get to have a coat of arms just because you got the same name as someone as once did who had that same coat of arms. You don't get to use that and say that it's yours. And you don't get a lordship or a peerage because you own a plot of land. The lord of that land has leased it to you, or you've bought the lease. So you don't really have to pay any more money on that, but you've got it for 100 years. And that's pretty much it, okay? Doesn't entitle you to any peerage. And there's a long fucking process of determining who is entitled to a peerage, and it's done by the crown. So, yeah, established titles is a scam. And the massive smoking gun anyway is that not only does the parent company of established titles own that company, they own a whole bunch of other brands that some of them have failed and some of them have been successful, like the Kamikoto knives. Yeah. Going on about made in the traditional Japanese way of folding steel. Motherfucker, have you ever seen a Japanese master, like a fucking Woots steel master, work that metal? The whole process from taking dirt, yeah, they take dirt from the ground and they put it in a giant chimney stack, and they slowly, over hours and hours and hours, they keep adding this dirt to the top of the chimney stack and then piling more coal on top, or charcoal, and it burns down and burns down and melts and melts and melts until right in the bottom of this chimney stack you've got this ball, this absolute gigantic ball of a mixture of like glass and steel, or not steel, iron, yeah? And what they'll do then is they'll smash the chimney down, and then they'll pull it out, yeah, that with a big iron picks and stuff like that. They'll pull it out and they'll roll it onto the floor, and then they'll try and pick it up, you know, put it onto a big wooden log, and then they've got this huge wooden mallet. And whilst like a couple of people, with the apprentices usually, well, the apprentices stand there with the tongs, the master will come with the fucking the big wooden hammer, and he will start pounding lightly on it, because it's so fragile at this point that it will just start shattering and breaking apart. And what you want to do is you want to try and get all of the iron that is in this lump to sort of form together in the middle of the middle of the lump, basically. Once that's cooled, yeah, they'll break it apart. They'll smash it to bits. Now, I know what you're wondering. What was the point of that? But they'll smash it to bits, and they will take the best bits of iron that are in there, and then it goes through this whole process of layering these iron shards on like a furnacing tool, and they will wrap it in washi kozo paper and dip it in, or give it a clay slurry wash, and then they'll wrap it in these like hay fibers, and then they put it into the furnace to heat it up, and it has to get to such a temperature that it doesn't completely just melt, but it's not so hard that you can't form it. So it needs what they call forge welding. And so you'll put it in there, and then they'll slowly start to hammer this thing together, and they'll elongate it and then fold it over and then start it all over again, furnacing it and hammering it. This is a long, labor-intensive Wootz steel knife manufacturing process, okay? That's not what Kamikoto knives are, okay? Kamikoto knives are mass-produced Chinese steel knives that they've just branded as Michelin star chefs all around the world use these traditional Japanese, no, mate, sorry. You wouldn't be able to put out the amount of knives that you require for your little scam going on there. You'd need an entire fucking squadron of masters, yeah, to do traditional Wootz steel fucking knives or swords, okay? It's a very long and labor-intensive process. So anyway, this parent company, according here to the interwebs, it's this the parent company of Established Tiles is called Galton Voisey. But that's not the one that I saw. Anyway, these guys, they're just scamming you. They're coming up with clever ideas to wrap things up in a brand, and they're selling them to people who can't be asked to do their fucking research. And it's like that. I was on last week, not last week, but the last Tuesday night Broadside that I did. I was talking about VPNs and the way that they've wrapped that up, the sort of brand that they've wrapped that up in. Oh, it'll like save you in hotspots. It won't save you in hotspots from a hacker, especially if well, it won't save you from hackers on hotspots any more than it will save you from hackers at your home. In fact, if you're at a hotspot, you're even more likely to be hacked because it's open, it's public, whereas the one at home, you usually got it secured by a key. It's just how they wrap it up. And that one, in fact, is a blatant lie about saving you at hotspots. It's misdirecting. It's not true at all. So VPNs don't save you at hotspots. You can't get a peerage from established titles, and Kamikoto knives would not be able to keep up with the production pace that they needed to support their scam if it was traditional Japanese steel. So yeah, I guess that's the end of that segment. If you did like that section, please like, comment and subscribe. If you didn't like that section, please like, comment and subscribe. It really helps in the algorithm. Hi, thanks. Right, so I guess the next thing we're going to talk about is how cold it is here at the moment and what's going on in the UK with regards to energy and all that kind of stuff. So look, it really is getting cold out there. And I know I've said that a few times already, but Jesus Christ, it is brass monkeys, right? It snowed here the other day. It didn't stick, well, it stuck for like half the day and then it melted by. But nevertheless, it's snowing and it is frosting over, right? Now, I live in a house that is owned by the local authority. So it's, you know, not, it's not my own. I rent it from the public, the local authority. So let me just change back to this. It's I live in a flat that's owned by the local authority. I pay my rent to them. And so it is kind of their responsibility to fix my house up. And at the moment, my house is in a little bit of a need of repair. So there is a major draft, like blowing all through the house. It's combined with, so like I have central heating. So I've got a radiator on the wall over there, but over here by the window, there's no radiator. And somewhere in this window box, there is a draft coming through from somewhere, from the skirting boards, or like a crack maybe in the concrete that's under the floor, or I don't actually know where it's coming from. But I can't get it investigated either, because every time I go to the council and I say to them, you know, I've got a draft in my house, like it's a terrible, terrible draft. I can't keep the house warm. Like the heating is just blowing out the top of the house and being replaced with fresh cold air from the outside because I've got such a terrible draft. I cannot keep this house warm. It's like I've got the doors closed, I've got that one radiator on, because obviously energy prices as well. I can't afford to heat every single house in the room when it's just going to go out into the atmosphere. I just can't afford to do that. So I'm kind of, me personally, I'm balancing the central heating between rooms at the moment. The bathroom and the kitchen are probably the worst, because this is the type of house that has like a wet dry, it's called a wet dry heating system. And basically what it is, it's like a blow fan that's above the door, and it has the central heating pipes run through it. So whenever the central heating is on, the hot water will run through the pipes that are in that system, and you got a little pull cord on it, and it'll blow hot air, it'll blow air across those pipes and exposing the air to the hot pipes and blowing out hot air. But they're fucking useless. And more to the point, they're completely kaput at the moment. So I've got some space heaters, some electric space heaters. You know, it's not like I'm living in complete poverty and you know, I'm struggling or anything like that. But it is very difficult to keep the house warm. And what I am resorting to is like doing things like wearing more layers, wearing jumpers. You know, I've actually got my fucking slippers on for a change. I don't usually wear my slippers because, you know, I just don't like wearing them, basically. They make your feet sweat and stuff like that. It's just... Anyway, but I'm so cold, I've got my fucking slippers on. Now, I'm also getting assistance from the government in the way of energy payments. Well, I say the government. I mean, it was all swings and roundabouts. I've spoken about this on one of the streams previously, that this is just a big fucking money laundering scam. It's just a transfer of wealth, this whole thing. It's like you're charging us more for energy, and so then the government turns around and says, well, I tell you what then, since the energy companies are charging so much, here's a little bit of assistance, but you can only spend it with the energy companies. It's like, so not only are the energy companies charging us more, you're also giving us money to give to them under the guise of assistance. No, 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 no. What I want you to do is not help me out by giving me assistance to give to the fucking people who are overcharging me. I want you to sort out the people who are overcharging me. And this is the point, is that people are going to start dying across the country simply because they're either not eating or they're not able to afford the energy. Even with the assistance that I am getting, I am still having to take my own money and put it onto the electric, because that allowance is just not lasting a month. You know what I mean? They're giving us £66 a month. I'm a single adult, a single male. Yeah, all right, I have my daughter here sometimes, you know, but I'm a single adult. I barely use, like, I've got a fridge on. I've got this little setup here, which includes my computer. I've done energy calculations on my apartment, how much it does every single fucking device I've been through in my house, every single device, the lamp that's here, the monitor, the computer, the fridge, the central heating, everything has been broken down into like kilowatt hours, and you know, how much does it require to run the house. And even on the small, or like shutting off all of the lights whenever you're not in the room, shutting off the lights and that sort of thing, making sure that things aren't on standby, you know, things that are in your plugs. If you're not using them, don't leave them on standby, because that is still using electricity. Every time you're using it, it's still using electricity. So anyway, the point is, I've gone through the entire house, I've worked everything out that I need to, and it turns out that even still, on the very modest amount of electronics that I'm using, it is still ridiculously too high to run my flat on £66 a month. I'm a single male in a flat. It's not even a house, it's a flat. Right? And I'm getting assistance. And the point where I'm going with this is, what about the people who aren't getting assistance, who have still got to go to work, and all of their money now is being just funneled into the energy? That's all it's there for now, is to pay for energy and make sure that your kids are fed with whatever the fuck is left. Do you know what I mean? And even like, I'm hearing all over the place that parents are missing meals so that their kids can have a meal and they can keep the heating on. I heard a story the other day about some woman, some fucking 80-year-old woman sitting in a house with an empty fridge. Yeah, It was probably warmer in her fridge than it was in her flat as well, because she's sitting there in the fucking dark with no central heating on. How is this allowed to happen? You know what I mean? How is this actually allowed to happen? In a first world country, how is the British government just sitting back and allowing energy companies to charge that much money and then like pretending like this £66 is enough to cover the energy bills that we're facing? People on the dole or people on social benefits, you know, job seekers allowance and universal credit, all that kind of stuff. They're having, they don't get a lot anyway, right? I think most, if it were me, for example, most claimants my age would probably get round about 350 quid, maybe around there, or something like that. That would be for their spending money, and all that. Don't get it twisted. They still get their council tax paid for. They still get their rent paid for, majoritively. Okay, if you live in like a fucking really expensive place, you ain't getting that. Yeah, you're not getting paid that kind of stuff. Although saying that, people who live in like sheltered accommodation, in the sense of like the YMCA, for example, they charge £190 a week. It could be more now. They charge £190 a week just to live there. This is in like a sheltered accommodation type thing, the YMCA, and you literally cannot live there unless you're on some kind of benefit, because they need to get the housing benefit from the council or from the Department of Work and Pensions, and they will happily pay it too. £190 a week. That's like, you know, 2, 4, 6, 8, 800, roughly 800 quid a month that they're getting just for one person, the YMCA, whenever you stay in one of their sheltered accommodation places. It's not, if you were working and you needed to go and stay at the YMCA, you'd be charged 190 odd quid every week for the pleasure of staying in a shared accommodation, sheltered housing. So you wonder why there are people on the streets, why they can't actually go to these types of places. Because a lot of the time, people who are on the streets, they're not getting dole money either, because if you've not got any address, you can't, you got nowhere to send mail, you can't claim. So they need addresses to be able to claim. And I'm, you know, although I guess where I'm going with this is, although I've complained about, you know, I can't keep my house warm, it's a lot warmer in here than it is out there. And I like for the genuine cases I'm talking about, I'm not talking about all you fucking grifters who sit there all day begging for fucking change, and then you go home to your fucking mansion in your fucking BMW. Yeah, I know you are around my fucking town anyway. I know who you are. I see ya. And you fucking pieces of shit, okay? There are real cases out there that are homeless, and look, I'm not going to defend them all, because a lot of them have got problems that they just won't deal with, that they need to, before they can actually get on their own 2 feet. You need to want to be cured, I'm afraid. And a lot of these people just don't want to be cured. But there are a lot of people out there that are genuine cases that are going to be freezing cold tonight. And some of them may very well die. But you don't need to be living on the street to die in the cold, because it's so expensive to live in a house anyway at the moment, just to keep the fucking heating on. Yeah? That you probably, if you're an older person, and maybe if you've got like a cardiovascular issues, etc., you're gonna probably, there's a high possibility that you could die this winter. because you won't be able to afford the heating or you won't be able to fucking eat. One of the two, pick one. But, I mean, for example, my chippy just put their prices up. And I completely understand them doing it because obviously the energy prices have gone up. You know, it takes a lot of heat and electricity to warm a, you know, the fryers and the kebab stand, you know, all that kind of stuff takes gas, takes electricity. It's all going up. And so the prices have to go up. They haven't changed their prices in a long time. But I went there because one, it was the best kebab meat around, right? There weren't no comparison with this place as to other places. The kebab meat was, and it was good value for money. And I don't mean it was like we were ripping them off. They were giving us too much. What I mean is it was a decent amount for the amount of money, and I thought it was a fair price. You know, a large kebab meat, a large mixed kebab meat and chips, yeah, 470. Now, I bet a lot of you that listen to that, right, are turning around and saying, wow, that is cheap. I mean, like my chippy, they're charging 650. Well, that's what he's put his prices up to now. I couldn't afford to. I mean, like, I only have like one a week. Yeah, it's like a treat. I've one a week. So that's 20 quid a month. Yeah, 470. Now that I budget for that. I have to budget things, you know. I don't just get my paycheck and then like I just spend it willy-nilly. I've got a budget. I know precisely what I need to pay out. I know precisely how to divide my money up. And that was a part of the division of my money, my once a week £4.70 mixed kebab meat and chips. And now it's gone up to £6.50, which is quite a jump, almost 2 quid, almost 2 quid. And I completely understand why they've done it. But as I said to them the other day when I was surprised by the change, I'm afraid that this will have to be the last one because now I can't afford it. You know, I understand that you had to put your prices on, but I can't actually afford to pay for that now. Maybe, you know, they says, well, maybe get a smaller one. And it's like, that's not the point. I came here because it was that price. It was budgeted in and it filled me up. Now I've got to go for less for the same price. No, it's not economical for me because I'm very like thrifty and economical like that. I guess as Andrew Tate would put it, us brokies need to, you know, do shit like that. People who are earning millions, you know, they don't need to think about anything like that. But people like me who are on the breadline, you know, just trying to make ends meet, trying to just make you know, families, you know, making sure your family are safe and fed and all that kind of stuff. That's me. That's what I'm doing, just the same as millions of other people across the country right now. All you richies, yeah, you go and live your fucking elitist lifestyles and keep it fucking away from me until I get enough money, then we'll hang out, okay? By the way, Andrew, if you are watching, I know I call you names and I call you an arrogant prick and stuff like that. You are, but at the same time, I think people, I think the country needs people like you. Like the young lads in our country need people like you right now. So if you are watching, I am a fan, but you are still an arrogant prick. Anyway, back to the cold. So look, what is actually going on in the country right now? Why is it, like, all right, I say what is going on in the country now. Why is no one doing anything? I think people are actually having enough. If I go back to the internet full page, there's a hashtag going around at the moment. Enough is enough. I think it was. I can't believe I've shut the tab down. Let's search it. Enough is enough. Enough is enough is enough. Bit of Barbara Streisand there. So yeah, this hashtag enough is enough. I think people are starting to like sort of have enough now. Like people are starting to come out of the woodwork and say, what the fuck is going on here? You guys are sitting there, sitting pretty. You know, you've got all this fucking money. We're talking about politicians, by the way. You know, you're sitting there, you've got all this fucking money, and you're basically laughing at us. That's what you're doing. The politicians, they do not give a shit about what is going on in the country. They don't care whether old people die. They don't care whether people are choosing meals. And I guess the point is, they're getting subsidised meals. Yeah, look at this one here. NHS hospital canteen, single tuna sarnie costing £3 for nurses, paid for out of their own wage. Houses of Parliament, rum banana tart tartan with rum and raisin ice cream for the princely sum of £2.37 for MPs, paid for by you, the taxpayer. Now, while the meal might be cheaper than a £3 sarnie, right? It doesn't make any difference to the simple fact that that's coming out of our fucking money. Oh, and they're saying back the nurses, pay strike. Look, we're paying for your lunches, yeah? And we're also paying for our fucking lunches. Why are we actually paying for you, by the way? Why are you allowed to have any of these? What, because you're a public servant? You don't serve the fucking public, okay? You're not serving the public. You're serving your fucking selves. And it's coming to a fucking head now. All you MPs, not a single one of you have got any scruples. You're fucking charging, like, you know, claiming tax back and stuff like that on properties that you barely live in, etc. That's just like one example. People are actually starving and none of you give a shit. You ought to, all of you, every single fucking one of you, everyone who calls yourself an MP, you ought to be absolutely ashamed of yourselves. Every single one of you in that fucking house, in both houses, every single one of you ought to be ashamed of yourselves. But you ain't, because you're sitting pretty on the taxpayers' money. You're scum. Every single one of you, you are scum. Okay. There are people literally starving to keep the fucking heating on, and you're claiming on our money, sitting there eating food, you know, that is subsidised by us, and we can't even afford to eat ourselves. I say we, it's not me. I can afford to eat. But there are people, millions and millions of people all across the country right now who are suffering, sitting there in the fucking freezing cold, or not eating. And you've got the cheek to, like, put it out on the fucking news. Oh, well, here's some ways that you can stay extra warm in this cold season when you're sitting there in the house with central heating that you can't fucking switch on. How much does it cost to heat those fucking Houses of Lords and the Commons? How much does it fucking cost to heat those? You're a bunch of cheeky, robbing bastards. You're all scum. Not a single one of you deserves to be in the position that you are in. And you certainly don't deserve £7,000 a year or however much it is and continue to get a fucking pay rise every year. Oh, well, it's becoming increasingly more expensive, you know, to subsidise, you know, energy. No, it's not becoming more expensive, right, to subsidise anything apart from you. It's becoming more and more expensive to keep you lot, all the fucking MPs, every single one of you. I'm not distinguishing like, oh, there are some bad apples. No, even if you think that you are a good apple, you are not, for the simple reason that you are doing this job for the fucking money. because I don't see a single one of you doing the job for the people. None of ya. Not a single fucking one of ya. I don't see any of you doing any work for the people. You're all a bunch of fucking opportunist piss takers. Okay? You're happy to take that fucking money, taxpayer money. You're happy to sit there eating your fucking, food provided by the taxpayers. Big princely fucking meals whilst we're suffering on fucking frozen meals, which, by the way, we don't even need to put in the freezer at the moment because it's so cold in the fucking kitchen. You lot need to take a good hard look at yourselves. You need to get some integrity. You are disgusting to me. You are abhorrent to me. There is not a good thing that I could say about a single fucking one of you whilst you're earning that amount of money a year, and yet you do fuck all to help the actual people in this country. You do absolutely nothing for us. You're rats is what you are. No, in fact, you're not rats. You're lower than rats. You're rat shit is what you are. That's what I think of politicians. You are rat shit. That's how low you are. You fucking rat shit. How do you feel about yourself? Like, genuinely, I'm talking to any MP who's watching this video right now, or watching this clip right now. How do any of you live with yourselves, knowing what's going on in the country at the moment? You ought to be fucking ashamed of yourselves that you're not, like, literally, you're not fucking cutting your wages, yeah? Saying, do you know what? We don't actually need this much money, because you don't need that much money. And why is it that we have to subsidise your fucking meals? Or why are you allowed to claim any tax back on anything? And don't say that it's because you're a public servant, because you ain't serving anyone but your fucking self. Prove to us that you're capable of serving us, and then maybe we can start talking about fucking paying you more, yeah? But until then, you need to cut your wages, and you need to stand up to your greedy peers. If you're one of the ones that are saying that you are a good apple, that I'm doing stuff to help at my community, my constituents, I'm doing things, you're not doing enough. You are not standing up to your greedy pig peers in that house. You need to stand up more. You need to call them out. I know you're limited because the speaker won't allow you to fucking, what's the word I'm looking for? You're not allowed to put your fellow peers down. Yeah, you're not allowed to insult them in Parliament, and then you'll be asked to, retract your statements and stuff like that. But something drastic needs to be done by all of the people who feel like they're a good egg, who feel like they want to help out. They're all altruistic and that kind of stuff, yeah? You want to help out, then challenge your peers, your greedy, manipulative peers. Call them out on all their tax avoidance. Call them out on all their overspending and all of their claims on tax. I don't know. Look, the simple fact of the matter is, if you were really altruistic about your job, yeah, and you were doing it for the people, take a pay cut. Genuinely take a pay cut of about £50,000. Yeah, every single one of you needs to take a £50,000 pay cut, right? Then we'll start talking. Then we'll start thinking about whether or not you're doing this for the people or not. Okay. But until then, you can all fuck off, and I think you're all rat shit. Because you're doing it for the money, you're doing it for yourselves, and you're doing it for your colleagues and your cronies. Don't even get me started on like big pharma and industry and Don't even get me started on those ones, because you're just lining your pockets and you're lining their pockets and their investors' pockets. You don't give a shit about fucking anyone but yourself. So none of you, not a single MP in those houses, do not talk to me about, oh, well, I'm doing things for the people, I'm helping out, because you are doing nothing. I have seen absolutely fuck all in the way of help from you. Any single one of you. You've got no scruples. You've got no integrity. You've got no fucking backbone. You've got no fucking power to do absolutely anything. But more to the point, you're too fucking spiteful and selfish to do anything about it. You are rat shit. The MPs of this country, the nobility of this country, you're all fucking rat shit. Because if you cared about this country even slightly, you'd be fucking holding people accountable right now. There is no need for a 500% hike in energy bills, especially when mainland Europe is like had, I don't know, like, I can't even remember the figure, but it's like in the magnitude of like 400% lower than that. Okay. You're all rat shit, and none of you care about the fact that people are dying. And that's all this comes down to, is your fucking lying, your fucking apathy towards all of this. But at the same time, the British public have got a lot to sort of say for themselves, because we can see this going on and yet we're not doing enough. We are too apathetic about it ourselves. Now, I'm not going to rag on the British public too much, because they are the victims here. But the point is, you need to start standing up and doing more. You've just got to do it now. You're freezing in your house, so you might as well be out on the fucking street freezing. And don't get me started on you fucking oil change cunts, okay? I don't see you sitting out there now on the fucking road, glued to the road, in the fucking snow and the freezing ice. Oh, where's your global warming now? Yeah? Where's your fucking global warming now? Shut your fucking mouth. Stop complaining about fucking oil. We don't need to get rid of fossil fuels. That's why we're so fucking cold at the moment, because we're getting rid of fossil fuels. You fucking idiots. Okay. Shut up about oil, stopping oil and stopping fossil fuels. That is the precise fucking reason why energy prices are hiked through the fucking roof right now. It's because of cunts like you. Get off the fucking road. Stop being a fucking nuisance. Coal is here to stay for a little bit longer, because we haven't quite cracked the fucking nuclear thing yet. So shut your fucking mouths. Stop complaining. You miserable bunch of cunts. People are literally fucking dying, and you're sitting there complaining, it's bad for the environment, climate change. Shut up. Just shut up. You don't know a fucking thing. It's got fuck all to do with climate change, and you have been brainwashed into believing that it is. Because you're a fucking sheep, and you just follow whatever's on the fucking news. You're all fucking idiots. A lot of you. Any one of you who are sitting out on them fucking roads, yeah? Oil change fucking climate activists, yeah? Any single one of you sitting out there on them fucking roads, gluing yourself to the fucking floor, yeah? Becoming a nuisance to people. Fuck you. You're all dumb cunts. You don't understand the world. You think that you're doing right, but you're not. You're causing problems, and you're fucking killing people, basically. In some cases, directly killing people. Remember, like last year, was it, or the year before, when they were gluing themselves to the fucking motorway, and then an ambulance couldn't get through, and some poor fucking woman died because she couldn't get to the fucking hospital because these cunts were lying in the fucking road, gluing themselves to the fucking road. For what, though? Climate change is not real in that sense. Climate change happens all the fucking time throughout Earth's history, okay? That's what happens to the Earth. It warms up and it cools down. You never guess what? It was hot in Qatar the other day. I did a video about this. I don't know whether you've seen any of my new videos or my shorts or anything like that. But basically, The football team, English football team, were apparently complaining, oh, it's a bit hot in Qatar, whilst down in the fucking South Pole, they're having record lowest temperatures for November. It's like, oh, who would have thought that it's hot in hot places and it's cold in cold places? That's what's happening. It doesn't seem like global warming is doing anything at the moment, does it? It's so fucking cold out there. I could fucking freeze my piss. I could go outside and freeze my fucking piss. Shut up about climate change. You need to shut up about it now. We need to stop pretending like this is an actual thing, yeah? We need to stop pretending like CO2 footprint. Fuck off. China produces more CO2 than anybody in the fucking Western world. One country. More CO2 that you tell them. You go and tell them climate change. You go and fucking tell them, oh, you're going to have to stop. Shut up. Shut your fucking mouths. Get off my fucking road. Stop talking about your stupid fucking ideas because you ain't got a fucking clue. Not a single one of you climate change activists have got a fucking clue about how the world works. If you did, you wouldn't be fucking asking for it. You're a bunch of dumb cunts and people are dying because of dumb cunts like you, putting pressure on dumb cunts like those fucking politicians. Oh, we've got to do something to save the environment. The environment is fine, okay? It's the fucking people that are the problem. Yeah? Dumb cunts. It's like George Carlin said. Think of the most stupidest person that you can probably think of and then realise that 50% of the population are even more stupid than that. You're all a bunch of dumb cunts, okay? All of you. And you people in Parliament, you're all a bunch of fucking selfish wankers and you ain't got no fucking help to give and you don't, do you know what, you don't even wanna give any help. You're all happy wrapped up in your little fucking bubble. Selfish rats is what you are. Not a single one of you got an ounce of integrity or scruples. If you did, then you'll take a pay cut and you'll lobby the rest of your peers and you will form like a new group of, you know, MPs who are for the reduction of your wages. But you won't do it, will you? No, because you're happy getting the amount of money that you're on, ain't you? You think you're entitled to it. You're entitled to fucking nothing, okay? You pieces of shit. And you, more to the point, yeah, remember this. Every single one of you, remember this. You work for us. That's our money that's paying your wages. Start fucking working for us instead of your fucking cronies and yourselves. When you can prove that you can do that as a collective, then we'll start talking about good apples, bad apples. Then we'll start talking about altruism. Yeah? Until then, fucking shut your mouths. You're all fucking shit. Rat shit. People are dying. It's fucking cold. People can't put their eating on. And you're sitting there eating fucking rum and raisin ice cream. You fucking asshole. Paid for by us. Fuck you. Anyway, I guess that's where I'm going to leave that rant. If you did like this section, then please like, comment, and subscribe. If you didn't like this section, then please like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps in the algorithm. Right, where are we going to next? Done the heraldry, peerage, yada yada. Done all that. Oh yeah, nuclear fusion. Aha. So. Right, so. Yesterday, I think it was announced that American scientists have performed an experiment. Oh, come on, you bastard. Why now? Right, I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, before I start the next segment, I do actually need to go use the loo, so I'm going to put you over to the Be Right Back screen, and I will be right back. I'm going to go find myself a fucking lighter because apparently that one stopped working all of a sudden, and I'm going to go and urinate. So I'll be right back. Stick around, and I'll be about 2 minutes. Shake of a lamb's tail. Right, I'm back. Give me a second. Yeah, I'm back. Right. So, wrong one. Actually, while I'm here, I'm going to do this. I've got to try and sort that out. Okay, so 1,000 is too big. 500. That's still a bit too much. Yeah, that'll do. 250. Lovely. Okay. So what's this segment about? Here we go. Right, so US scientists have apparently come up with some newfangled method of producing not really a newfangled method. It's a newfangled method of containing the producing the energy that they need. It's basically Right, let me start this segment again. US scientists have apparently made a breakthrough in nuclear fusion. And what they've been trying to work on over, I guess, the last 75 years is how do we get more energy out than we put into it? Because currently, in order to make atoms fuse together, you need enormous amounts of heat and you need enormous amounts of pressure. And both of those things need an enormous amount of energy. So all the energy that's coming from the local power station, they need to throw as much as they possibly can to it, yeah, in order for this to fucking work. And the amount of energy that we're currently getting out of it is far, far, far less than, you know, what we can put in. So it's just not cost effective. That's the whole point. It's like these what do you call them, the perpetual motion machines. The reason why they are bullshit, yeah, is because you can't get out more energy than you put into something. In kinetics, like in physics, you can't get more, and it's just laws of thermodynamics. You can't get more energy out of something that you put into it. If you can, then you've solved the energy crisis. What they're saying is that they've developed a way using lasers to produce the heat and the pressure required in order to generate this power source, this fusion of the atoms. And so far they've been able to produce enough energy to like boil a few kettles, let's say. So it's not an incredible amount, you know. And apparently this one experiment that they did, it's like cost them £3.5 billion of dollars or something like that. Let's go into this. Where is it? The BBC one I was looking at earlier. So look, I mean, if you're on Twitter today or yesterday, you'll be seeing posts like this, you know, going on about, oh, they've made a breakthrough in. It's like, no, well, yes, they may have made a breakthrough, but they're going on about like, oh, cold fusion is here. It's gonna revolutionize. It's like, no, I'm sorry, I don't mean to piss on your chips. I don't mean to piss on your chips, but it's not the big thing that you think it is. It is a step forward. It's a big step forward for the scientists. It's not a big step forward for us. It's a nuclear fusion on the scale of producing enough for home energy is just still way out of our league. Now, you got to think about this. Let's go to this New York Times article. I know it's the New York Times, but they're all pretty fucking much the same when it comes to things like this. I reject your purposes, and no, I don't want to fucking... What, you're not letting me... All right, okay. So we're not going to the New York Times because they're being cunts about it. We'll go to the Guardian. Here we go. I bet you this is going to be the fucking same, innit? Right, here we go. Right, so a breakthrough in nuclear fusion could mean near limitless energy. I love the way that they wrap these up. Yes, of course. Of course. Near limitless energy. Do you know why it's limited? Because you can't get out more than you put in. That's why it's limited energy. even those perpetual motion machines that I've said, you know, the ones that actually look like they're going and they're just going on their own, eventually they will slow down because friction often affects the device. So even if it is going round a lot on its own right now, eventually it will stop as entropy takes over, as the friction reduces the speed that the wheel goes over time. Okay, even if you're on two spiked points where the surface area is so minimal, eventually the friction on those points of the wheel, on the axle, those points will cause friction to slow it down, and you need to continuously put some form of energy into it, whether it be like spinning the wheel like that, you know, with your hand, but you constantly, at some point, you will need to put more energy into it. Okay, so you can't get out more energy than you put in. Now, right, so researchers have reportedly made a breakthrough in the quest to unlock a near limitless, safe, clean source of energy. They have got more energy out of a nuclear fusion reaction than they put in. That's the claim that they're making, that they got more energy out of it than they put in. Now, if that is the case, you've done it. Well done, boys and girls. You fucking worked hard and you finally did it. You son of a bitch, you fucking did it. I'm waiting to see the results on this one because they are currently being, the results and the output and the data is currently still being reviewed at the moment. And as I've said, it's very small scale. They've produced enough to make about like boil 3 kettles, something like that. All right, I'll go through this in case there are people out there that don't understand what nuclear fusion is. But nuclear fusion involves the smashing together of light elements such as hydrogen to form heavier elements, releasing a huge burst of energy in the process. The approach, which gives rise to the heat and light of the sun and other stars, has been hailed as having huge potential and as a substantial low-carbon energy source. Right. Keep that in mind, right? Nuclear fusion. What do we want to do? We want to smash 2 particles together, right, to release energy. Who else tried that? I think Albert Einstein wrote an equation about it. I think Robert Oppenheimer built this like tiny device that mashes atoms together and then they release large amounts of energy. I can't quite think of what it's called though. Anyway, so what we want to do is we want to take atoms, smush them together so that they form different atoms, and in the process, we release lots of energy. That's what happens in the heart of a star. The hydrogen in the heart of a star is under so much heat and so much pressure that 2 of them will fuse together and they will create a helium atom. Okay? And obviously, as more and more of the star is used up, the hydrogen in the star, heavier elements start to form, as like the helium, for example, starts to fuse with helium or starts to fuse with hydrogen, giving them more electrons, etc. So we are literally, it's the old form of alchemy, if you will. It's like trying to get gold out of everyday substances just by, it's like, that's what chemistry is, but this is chemistry on the most extreme scale. It's easy to form certain bonds between certain elements, yeah, which means that they share electrons. Actually fusing two nuclei together so that they form one atom requires the most extreme of conditions. The atom bomb, that was it. Anyway, so they're doing it with lasers. These lasers can reportedly heat up these gaseous atoms of hydrogen to such a degree that they and put them under so much pressure. I don't think it's the lasers that are putting them under the pressure, although it might be. I mean, light still acts like matter as well as a radio wave, according to science. So maybe it is that. I've not read into the experiment itself. I don't really know how it works, but what they're saying is by using lasers to heat the gas up, they can create enough heat and enough pressure that it releases energy, or at least it's released enough energy to boil a few kettles. Now, by saying that they've put more out of it than they've put in, what they're saying is that they've used less than the 3 kettles worth of energy to boil three kettles worth, okay? That's what they're saying. But we haven't seen the data yet. So that could be like it took them 2.99 kettles to get 3 kettles worth of energy out. Do you get what I mean? It's not the breakthrough that people might think it is, okay? Unfortunately, right, this project, let's see if I can find out what the amount of money was that they spent on it. It's got to be in here somewhere. It's billions anyway. They've spent fucking billions on this. It's a very, very, very expensive project. Now, even if this was something that could be rolled out tomorrow, they've spent $3 billion on this project already. Investors have already put $3 billion into it, and that's just for one experiment. But if that one experiment, even if, let's put it in a fantasy world, they could roll it out tomorrow and provide clean energy for homes across the world, right? It still takes time to claw back the money that they've spent on all the research and everything before we even get into sort of making profits on it. Okay. Now, the other thing that I wanted to go into about that was they said potentially a low carbon energy source. Why is that? Well, because in order to power the fucking thing, you're still going to need to burn coal, aren't you? Or you're still going to have to produce energy of some kind with traditional fuel sources, whether that be nuclear fission, i.e., nuclear power plants, or coal, fossil fuels. There are no renewable energies, right? There are no renewable energies that are worth the paper they're printed on. Okay? So it's coal, nuclear fission, or this nuclear fusion powered, nuclear fission powered nuclear fusion. I suppose that could be a way to go. You use a nuclear power plant to power this nuclear fission. A nuclear fission power plant to power this fusion power plant. Maybe that's but either way, you still have to power it with something. Now, the sun, I guess you could say solar power. If you can get enough power from the sun on solar panels to power a nuclear fusion device, yeah, that takes only that amount of power but outputs an extraordinary amount of power, yeah, enough to power towns and cities, and that's what you're looking for. But right now, there is no way of cost effectively producing more energy than has been input. And even if you do it, it's already cost you billions and billions of pounds or dollars. And now you've got to even try and claw that back. And they're not even at that stage yet. It's still in development. And there's no saying that they got an extraordinary amount of energy out of it. Yeah, look, all right, so I've just been, according to, let's actually go into it. According to a report in the Financial Times, which is yet to be confirmed by the National Ignition Facility at Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory in California, who are behind the work, researchers have managed to release 2.1 megajoules of energy after using just did I say 2.5? Yeah, researchers have managed to release 2.5 megajoules of energy after using just 2.1 megajoules to heat the fuel with lasers. Okay. 2.5, 2.1, but do you get what I mean? Do you see where I'm coming from? You want to get that down to like 0.5 megajoules. Yeah. They've only put in 0.5 megajoules and now they're getting 2.5 out. That is like, wow. That's a breakthrough. Yeah, that's fucking, we're there. We've done it, boys and girls. We've done it. We've free energy, free clean energy for everyone, but it's not really clean because you've still got to use fucking energy to put in. I don't know. But mate, I mean, saying that, right? Maybe they could daisy chain it. Like, or you only need to put in a little bit once. Yeah, you only need to put in a tiny little bit of energy at first. Yeah. So you coal power the first one. And because you're getting... because you're only putting 2.1 megajoules in, yeah, you can then power the next fusion reactor. How would we do that? Would that mean that, hang on, so you need 2.1 to power that fusion reactor. And then there'll always be 0.4 megajoules left over. So if we did it, just the numbers, just the sort of design that they've got now, I guess you could power 2 fusion reactors continuously using that. If you just sort of like give it a little bit of a ignition first with some other unclean energy. But even then you'd still only be getting 0.4 megajoules out of each one. I don't know. But anyway, look, my point is, yes, good for you guys. Well done. You've done great work. You've managed to actually output more energy than you put into it. Now you just need to bring the cost down. You need to bring that input down. And once you've done that, we'll be talking, we'll be there, like the human race. Maybe we can start powering starships and shit like that now. Do you know what I mean? Maybe we can, be Star Trek all of a sudden. Maybe warp speed is next. Who knows? Who fucking knows? We never thought that fusion was really possible. Now they're able to do it because like the cost of other technologies has come down and the advancements of other technologies has increased. So we're able to actually do it now. And maybe with this advancement, we'll be able to move into the Star Trek future. Who knows? Near limitless. Though remember that it's near limitless. You can't really have an unlimited supply of energy because it's very difficult to get more out than what you put in. That's the whole basis of, the laws of thermodynamics and the preservation of motion and entropy. And, if you don't know physics, look into it because it's a very, very broad and vivid subject. But nevertheless, well done, guys. Doing a great job. But we need to start bringing that cost down. We need to start bringing those megajoules down now, the input power. And then we're talking. But until then, boys and girls, we're still stuck to coal-powered fuel sources and nuclear fission energy from power plants. But I do want to point out that people are worried about nuclear fission. What if one melts down? We could have like another Chernobyl. It could be bad for the environment, yada yada. Oh yeah, what about if a fucking atom detonates? Yeah, what about that? What if they fuse too many atoms together at one time and it just, E equals mc squared? Not just irradiated, yeah, but completely blown to smithereens, like completely wiped out, like the entire face of that planet there is wiped out because your nuclear fusion reactor just had a little bit of a malfunction. I don't know. I'm not a scientist by any stretch of the imagination in that sense. I don't know all the equations. I don't know, what are the safety concerns, yada yada. But what I do know is that they already tried this. They've actually been able to fuse atoms together and it created an almighty explosion. Okay? So I'm not saying that this is bad technology. I'm all for it. It's the advancement of the human race. But I do have serious safety concerns about it because it's essentially a fucking atom bomb. So, yeah. Anyway, that's where I'm going to leave this segment. If you did like this segment, then please comment, like, subscribe. Don't forget to share as well. If you didn't like this segment, please like, comment, subscribe. Really helps in the algorithm. So, where else were we going with this today? There was something else that was on my... Ah, yeah. Fucking, what's this? Right. So, this came upon the trending on Twitter. And it was only because I started going through it that I picked it up. But I knew nothing about this. Absolutely nothing about it. Didn't know anything about the task force or anything. So this is the Mirror reporting this. Exclusive. Major COVID fraud task force is being shut down despite 3.4 billion in lost money. HM Revenue and Customs has said that it will close its dedicated task force for getting back wrongly paid out COVID cash, even though 3.4 billion in fraud and mistakes is still outstanding. The taxman is shutting down its fraud-busting COVID task force despite failing to recover at least 3.4 billion in fraud and error. HMR Customs and Revenue says its specialist team of 1,250 officials who are working to get back taxpayer cash will begin winding down in March. The Taxpayer Protection Task Force will be closed down completely by September, so that's obviously next September, a year away, roughly. It comes as HMRC has almost halved the amount of money it expects to recover from a goal of 2 billion to 1 billion. An estimated 4.5 billion was lost to fraud and error from the furlough scheme, a similar scheme for the self-employed, and Eat Out to Help Out, which was another government initiative. Labour's Shadow Chancellor Rachel Reeves said, "This tells you all you need to know about how seriously the Tories take the fraud that has happened under their watch. The government left the till open for to fraudsters and criminals, and billions of pounds of hard-earned taxpayer money was lost. Not only did they fail on basic checks that were meant to stop this kind of criminal loss happening, but they seem to be giving up altogether on clawing any of it back from fraudsters by winding down this task force. This really is a badge of shame for this Prime Minister and flies in the face of working people already paying the price for Tory economic mess, the Tory economic mess we're in. The National Audit Office has warned that straightforward measures to tackle fraud were not introduced until months after the COVID business support schemes were launched. When Mr Sunak was Chancellor, Lord Agnew quit as Treasury Minister over the government's desperately inadequate efforts to stop taxpayers' money being stolen and blasted the schoolboy errors. In the Tory leadership race in the summer, Kemi Badenoch raised Mr Sunak's record on fraud in the ITV debate. When we both worked in the Treasury, myself and other ministers raised the issue of COVID loan fraud and you dismissed us, she told him. Why didn't you take us seriously? The HMRC said, we certainly will not be stopping doing compliance work on COVID error and fraud. We will continue doing that, although the dedicated task force will no longer be organised in that way. We will continue picking up those risks as part of our business as usual compliance work. So the HMRC says, all right, we're taking the task force away, but we're still going to continue doing the compliance checks anyway, because we've got to do them. All right, that's fair enough. You know, I understand that. Maybe the Mirror are sensationalising this a bit, but it's like, I can see this from two angles. Maybe they are just sort of fucking giving up, yeah, as they're trying to angle it here. Or maybe it's a case of they set it up and they realised that these people, that it was like just like a what they would call a quango. It was like a government initiative that was set up that was just simply to give people jobs. And it doesn't actually need to be done. So they're taking the task force away because they've got enough staffing and they've got the capability to do it under business as usual practices. That's what it sounds like the HMRC are saying. But nevertheless, Mr Sunak, how was this allowed to happen? Yet again, under your watch. What is going on with you? What, you just... Fishy Sunak. Fishy Rishi. Yeah? That's what we ought to call you, Fishy Sunak. You're not a good person, mate. You're just not. You ain't got our best interests at heart. You've only got your own best interests at heart. You're just slimy and horrible, mate. That's my opinion. You fucking just slimy and horrible. But nevertheless, this was allowed to happen under your fucking watch. You ignored all of your peers' complaints about it. And I guess I did say earlier in this stream that maybe, the MPs ought to be standing up more. Well, when he dismisses your claims or when he dismisses your points or whatever, you need to push back more. Even more and even more. You need to get right up in his face. You need to call him out in front of everyone. You need to make it public. You need to, as soon as you did it, why wait until now to say something about it? Why not publish it as it happened? I have voiced my opinion that this could happen, yeah? And the Chancellor has completely ignored our pleas, yeah? You could be doing more. You are the ones in power. We are not. Why is it our responsibility to constantly fucking remind you how to do your jobs by going out and protesting? Why don't you start doing your jobs? Yeah? Why don't you start doing your jobs that you're paid very well to do by us? Piss takers. Absolute piss takers, the lot of you. Anyway, so the HMRC are shutting that down now. We're, you know, I mean, like, that's 3.4 billion fucking pounds I guess we could do with right now. I don't know. It's just, look, something's got to get done. And we're going to move on to this now. I'm going to, if you like that little section, by the way. Sorry. If you did like that section, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you didn't like that section, please like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps in the algorithm. Now I'm going to move on to the Twitter files, because it kind of relates to what I was just turning around and saying. Right, so Elon Musk, or whoever the fuck it is, these journalists have been outing all of these documents that are related to the running of Twitter and the suppression of data and the suppression of stories, the collusion of government agencies with Twitter staff, all this stuff. Not going to go into all of that, because there are so many people covering it at the moment anyway. I don't need to do that. You can go away and look at all of those people, yeah? What I'm here to say is, you apparently, on January 6th, yeah, you apparently, on a whim, on the simple suggestion of an orange man, yeah, orange man bad, on a simple suggestion of former President Donald Trump, you went down to the Capitol building and attempted an insurrection. And that didn't really take much to sort of spur that on. And we know now that it was more along the lines of this was perpetrated by the Glowies, that the Glowies set all this up, and that there were people even there saying, no, don't do this. This is a setup. That's what they want us to do. There were people who knew better, who were fighting against the system. They were saying, no, don't listen to this cunt. You don't listen to him. Don't go down there. That's precisely what they want. We're going to go to the other side. Yeah. So it was obviously the Glowies who set that up. Right? So, but anyway, if you guys, yeah, the Americans, you've had an insurrection on January 6th on the simple suggestion of Orange Man. Yeah. You have a smoking... No, in fact, you don't have a smoking gun here. What you have is photographic evidence of them with their hand in the cookie jar. They still have the cookie jar on their hand, right? They are holding the cookies in the jar, yeah? And they cannot get their hand out of the cookie jar. And you are looking at them dead in the eye and saying, why are you stealing cookies? And they're saying, I'm not stealing cookies. I'm not taking any cookies. This is literally red-handed. Our Lord and Saviour, Elon Musk, has graced us with an absolute blinder of an opportunity here, okay? You need to strike while the iron is hot. This is way more than a smoking gun, okay? This proves all of the conspiracy theorists correct, yeah? All of the people who were called conspiracy theorists, yeah? All the people who were... The simple fact that the CEOs of these companies have lied to Congress about this, that carries a jail term. Why are they not being locked up right now? Why are you people not fucking out there right now pushing for them to be jailed. I mean, obviously, Sam Bankman-Fried, I think his name is, that FTX founder. He's nothing to do with this, but, or I mean, maybe he is. But that would be pure speculation at this point. But he's just been arrested. Fair play. You know, Elon was saying previously, you know, something about status and not being, you know, fucking arrested. And then all of a sudden he goes and gets arrested, the SBF. And so, yeah, I guess, look, it can happen. Yeah. But do you feel like it was really you that did that? Or do you feel like it's something more along the lines of they've had to arrest him because there's things that he knows that they don't want getting out? Be very careful over the next week or so, Mr. SBF, because you're probably going to get Arkansas'd. Yeah, you're probably going to get Epstein'd. Yeah. Same as you, Elon. You need to be very careful of yourself now, mate, because things are going to go fucking... Things could go easily south for you very quickly. But nevertheless, you've been given an opportunity now, right? Smoking gun. Absolute smoking gun. And yet I don't really see much going on. I don't really see any of you doing anything. Let me just switch back to this camera because I'm doing a different segment now. But like all of the things that have come out in this Twitter files stuff, yeah, that everyone's been reporting on. It's like... I don't understand why more of a reaction is not happening about this. I don't understand. Like, did you not see what was happening down in Brazil because they feel like they got their election stolen? Have you not seen the amount of people that are out on the streets? Go out onto the streets now. Millions of you. Go do it. Go out onto the street now. Go march on the fucking White House. Show them that you mean fucking business. They have betrayed you. I don't even need to be careful about saying this on YouTube because it is 100% provable. It is absolutely 100% without a shadow of a doubt provable, black and white. You've been given the evidence right in front of you. What are you doing just sitting there? Why are you just sitting there right now? Organise, mobilise, get the fuck out there. Oh, well, we'll just let the lawmakers deal with... No. Don't rely on the lawmakers to do anything. Litigation, legislators, they haven't got a fucking ounce of power. You need to be out there. You have a fucking document that is indoctrinated into your society. Yeah, you have a document that allows you to overthrow tyrannical governments. If there were any time for an actual insurrection and not some glowy arranged fucking insurrection like January 6th, right? If there was any type of insurrection that you need to do, it would be now. Strike while the iron is hot. You've got a smoking fucking gun. You've got their hand in the fucking jar. It's there for everybody to see. Mobilise. Organise. Get out there. Show them what you're fucking made of. It's time now. Now is the time. Rise up, everybody. You want to fucking change. You're sick to death of seeing things go on the way that they are. Now is the time to change it. Get out there, everyone. fucking stand up for yourselves. Don't be so complacent. Don't just sit back and let it fucking happen to you. You've got to stand up to these people. You've got to hold them accountable. And your legislators and your fucking your lawmakers, your governors, they are not going to do anything to help you. They are, even if they seem like they are still limited in power. You are the people. You are the country. You are the entire country. You need, and there has never been more clear evidence than traitorous government than right now. A treasonous government that purposefully went to the town square, the popular town square, and told them what they could and couldn't publish, and silenced relevant voices, whether they were people talking out on COVID, doctors talking out on COVID, people talking about the Hunter Biden laptop, yeah? All that kind of stuff. Election fraud. The things that they could have spoken about that may have influenced other people's choices on the election. They purposefully colluded with a private company. Your government colluded with a private company to stem the flow of information to you on a town square that is supposed to be public and free and open. And you have black and white evidence of it. Why are you just sitting there? Organize, mobilize. It's time for a change. It's time for a regime change. Okay? I don't know whether there are any commanders in the army, in the American army, or in the, the American armed services. I don't know whether there are any commanders who feel this way, that it's time for a change. Maybe it's time for a coup. Yeah? Maybe it's time for you guys to bunch together and say, no, enough is enough. I am a patriot to my country and you are running it down the tubes. This is not a democratic country. This is not the America that I grew up believing in. This is not the flag that I fucking pledged allegiance to. And if you ain't doing that, then you don't have allegiance to your country because you're allowing it to fail. It is enshrined in your law that you, like after the last time, after we were over there, yeah, and we were ruling you, yeah, when it was a tyrannical government, you were allowed to bear arms in case of a tyrannical government. And now there is absolute 100% proof that you are being run by a tyrannical government. And it didn't happen under Trump. You can't blame Orange Man Bad for this one, right? Or maybe you can actually. Maybe I haven't read much of the Twitter file, so I don't know how far back it goes. But what I'm saying is they're not releasing anything to say what anyone else did before, like the 2020 election. Was it 2020? 16, 20, yeah, 24. Yeah, so the 2020 election, you're not saying anything that like what was happening before that, like, nothing was happening before that. It's all the fucking run up to the 2020 election. The Hunter Biden laptop story got completely fucking suppressed. And it wasn't just Twitter, it was the mainstream media who are run by the government as well, or I say run, but influenced by the government. Now, before it was only conspiracy theory, yeah? Before it was like, well, yeah, it's plausible, but you got no proof. Now you got proof. Now you've got fucking proof. What are you waiting for? Conspiracy theorists are no longer conspiracy theorists anymore. You can't fucking call it to them. All those people that were calling this out were right. They were calling out the shadow banning. Yeah? They were calling all of that out. They knew that it was happening to them and they were calling it out. And they were being called conspiracy theories. No, we don't do that. They were going to, like Jack Dorsey went to fucking, or was on a live stream with Congress. No, we don't shadow ban anyone. We've got the fucking proof now that you lied. Got the fucking proof that you lied and you were doing it on the fucking request of the government. What are you gonna, you American people, I'm talking to you, Yankee Doodle dandies. Are you gonna sit there like dandies and just fucking do fuck all? Get up off your seat. 1766. Come on. Get out of your fucking chairs. Go out there now. Protest every single fucking day. Toot your fucking horns. Get out there. What are you waiting for? Now's your chance. Now's your opportunity. Vive la résistance. Anyway, I guess that's where I'm going to end that segment. So if you did like that segment, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you didn't like that segment, please like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps in the algorithm. And don't forget to share as well. Thank you. Right, what time is it? It's currently 9:20. I want to take a quick look through Twitter and we'll see what we got going on. Because I want to actually take a look at the trending on Twitter. I don't really... on previous streams, what I've done is I've just scrolled through the main Twitter feed. And what I find is I'm scrolling through and I'm being quiet and not really saying much. So I want to try and do it a different way. So we'll go for the what's happening in the United Kingdom, I guess, because that's, you know, what's trending over here. So let me switch back to the Twitter window. There we go. I wonder why that's like that. Let me just try and see if I can sort the transform out on this a second. One, two, Chrome window. There we go. What the heck? Are we back? Are we back? Yeah, I think we're back. Okay. Sorry about that. My OBS crashed. Sorry about that. So I just need to resort the transform. Sorry. Right, so we're going to take a look through Twitter anyway, just quickly, see what's trending. So the first thing I've got here is Argentina versus Croatia. Let's just have a quick look through there. Messi and Argentina are in the FIFA World Cup final. Okay, cool, good for them. Sad loss for England the other day. Never mind, better luck next time, lads. You got into like the quarters, was it? The quarterfinals? Well done, boys. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't really follow football myself. I'm not a great football fan. But I say football, soccer, whatever you want to call it. Never was a soccer fan or like a heavy sort of athletics sport fan like that. I guess I lived in Canada a long time ago and I got into basketball and ice hockey. I used to go watch the Vancouver Canucks play at GM Stadium an awful lot. I think it was GM Stadium anyway. And you know, obviously the Vancouver Grizzlies was my team when I was a kid, and so yeah, I mean, I used to like those kinds of games. Baseball's a bit long-winded, but we don't have those here in the UK anyway. Me personally, I'm more into sort of like pub sports, so pool and darts and stuff like that. But I don't actually drink. I don't drink alcohol. So you know, it's very rare I go into a pub anyway. But those are the kinds of games that are like darts and pool and snooker. So never really was big on football or you know. I guess if I had to, I guess if I had to, what the fuck is that there? Lionel Messi has the power to heal the disabled. Hallelujah. Why won't it close now? Oh, enough of that. Something going on. Anyway, top 1%. What the heck is going on with my... Stephen Bear found guilty on of sharing sex tape featuring Georgia Harrison on OnlyFans. This man sounds like everything you tried to warn your daughters about. Never did we think Andy Warhol's 15 Minutes of Fame would reflect modern society so much. Let's go and have a look at this. What is this? I reject your settings, mother flippers. You see, look at this. Right, whenever you go onto a website, always click on the legitimate interest because they've always still got these. Yeah. And even you could click the reject all at there. I don't do that. I like to go through every single one of these because they're just collecting data that they don't need to collect. And they don't tell you about those ones on the front page, and you click accept and or save and exit. You think that you're doing it right, and you still ain't done it. Save and exit now. Yeah. Okay, so what's this? Stephen Bear found guilty of sharing sex tape featuring Georgia Harrison on OnlyFans. The 32-year-old was accused of voyeurism and 2 accounts of disclosing private sexual photographs and films. He was found guilty on all 3 charges. Stephen Bear has been found guilty of sharing a sex tape featuring a fellow reality TV star that then appeared on the online subscription service site OnlyFans. The 32-year-old was accused of voyeurism and 2 counts of... I hate it when they do this. That's the fucking headline. That's the headline. Shut up. We don't need the repeat. During the trial at Chelmsford Crown Court, the jury heard that Bear, who won Celebrity Big Brother in 2016, had sex with his ex-girlfriend and The Only Way is Essex star Georgia Harrison in this garden before sharing CCTV footage of it on OnlyFans. Wearing a black suit and tie, Bear looked straight ahead as the jury foreman returned the verdicts. After more than 8.5 hours of deliberation, he then told the court, my barrister said not to, in my opinion... What? Wearing a black suit and tie, Bear looked straight ahead as the jury foreman returned the verdicts after more than 8.5 hours of deliberation. He then told the court, my barrister said not to, ellipses. In my opinion, from the very beginning, it was never a fair trial. What the press said against me. I was fighting a losing battle, and it is what it is. Doesn't make sense. Judge Christopher Morgan responded, thank you for that observation. Okay, Ms. Harrison, who waived her anonymity in relation to the case, watched on from the public gallery and appeared to breathe a sigh of relief as the guilty verdicts were returned. In a statement released through the police, she said that the last 2 years have been absolute hell, and this verdict will allow me to put the pain I have suffered in the past and start embracing the future. I hope me taking a stand gives other men and women who have fallen victim to revenge porn the courage to seek justice, and most importantly, show them that they have absolutely nothing to be ashamed of, she said. Ms. Harrison added that she has felt ashamed, hurt, violated, even broken at times, but now feels empowered after coming through the ordeal. She had previously claimed that she did not know Bear had CCTV cameras in his garden that recorded them having sex. The 27-year-old that when Bear showed her the footage, she told him never to send to anyone, made it plain how upset she would be if he did, said Jacqueline Casey, prosecuting. She claimed she saw Bear send the footage to someone on WhatsApp later that day, and that later that year she was made aware that it was circulating online. The alleged offences are said to have taken place between August and December 2020. During the trial, Bear posted 50% off deal on his adult entertainment website on Twitter, alongside a photograph of him arriving at court with his girlfriend Jessica Smith. The image showed him walking from a hired chauffeur-driven white Rolls-Royce to the court building with the accompanying text reading 50% off my adult site for the next 24 hours. Come see why I'm trending, he said. Bear had described himself as like a jack of all trades while giving evidence to court, adding he was also a labourer and did roofing before doing some TV work. He added, now I do a bit of adult entertainment because my TV work has been put on hold for 2 years because of this case. The judge bailed Bear until January 31st to return to the same court for sentencing after a report has been prepared about him. So he's out free on bail. He's still able to go. You can still go on OnlyFans. You can still go and see him doing his porn stuff. Whether that video has been taken down as a result of this, we don't know from that Sky News article there. But I guess one thing's for certain. You're a piece of shit, mate. You're a fucking piece of shit. Look at ya. Look at how cool you are in your faux fur. Yeah, mate, putting your fingers up. How about that? You're a fucking scumbag, mate. Yeah? You knew you had CCTV in the garden. You fucking showed it to her. Yeah? She was like mortified by it. And then you decide to go start sending it to your mates. Yeah? On WhatsApp. And then later on you think, oh, I could make some fucking money out of this. On her name. Yeah? It's not just because it's your fucking name. Yeah? It's because she's in the fucking image having sex with you. That's the sensational part about it. And she didn't even want it to happen. It's not revenge porn. It's capitalist porn. But it's opportunistic. That's what it is. You're being opportunistic about this. You're saying, do you know what? I can put this video out on OnlyFans and I can charge people to fucking view it. Yeah? And she doesn't want that. You are a scumbag, mate. You're a piece of shit. Okay. That's where I'm going to end that. I don't need to say any more about that. Just look at you. You're a piece of fucking shit. You think you're all cool. You think you're all big. You think you're a big man. TV career. TV career. You were on fucking Big Brother or something. That ain't no TV career, you dick. You're a nobody, just like me. You're fucking nobody. Okay, you're a nothing just because you dress in a fucking suit and faux fur. Oh yeah, fucking look at me, I'm big TV stuff. Fuck you, you're a nobody, mate. A nothing, a nobody. You hadn't got two fucking pennies to rub together, which is why you got to get your cock out on stream. Which is why you got to get fucking, you know, someone who you fucked previously, who's probably a bigger celebrity than you are. Which is why you used her video, yeah, of you having sex with her. That's why you used a video of her having sex with, because you wanted to have a little bit of fucking money out of it. You're a fucking scumbag, mate. A low life, another rat. No, another piece of rat shit. You're lower than the rat. Yeah, that's you. You're rat shit, mate. That's what I call people who are that low. You're less than rats. You're rat shit. So yeah, that's where I'm going to end that one. Let's go back to Twitter. Fucking Stephen Bear, you piece of shit. What's this? Died suddenly. Hashtag died suddenly. Every day it's someone else. Robert Malone was right. Okay, let's listen.
I look for this kid. Wow, that's pretty amazing. And you said it right. Poised for a kid this young, 19 years old, come out on the floor each and every night, and he feels like he's belonged. So I look for this kid to have a really good first half of the season.
I haven't got a clue what that's going to do with that. Died suddenly. Okay. What's this one saying here? The shots are a gene therapy, not a vaccine. Are you going to argue now with the inventor of the mRNA technique now? Right, so yeah, for those of you who don't know what mRNA is, essentially what you can do is you can sequence a genome for a virus, and because the way that viruses work is they will attach themselves to a cell. A virus will attach itself to your cell and it will inject its DNA into the nucleus of that cell. That cell will then start to act and behave in the way that the virus wants it to, right? mRNA is a way of taking an inert virus, putting your own sequence into it, and then that virus delivers the gene therapy into your body, into the cells, into your own DNA. Which is one of the biggest reasons why I was against it in the first place, because it's a gene therapy and not a vaccine. Okay, you can redefine it as of what a vaccine is as much as you like, but gene therapy is not a vaccine. There was this guy on YouTube. I'm trying to think of his name now. Oh Christ almighty, on a bike. What's his name? Let's have a look. YouTube. I keep thinking of the common nerd, but it's not the common nerd. It's because he doesn't do that kind of stuff. It's something else, but something to do with. Let's try this. Curing lactose intolerance gene therapy. The Thought Emporium. There you go. So, the Thought Emporium is a channel that is dedicated to genome sequencing and microbiology and stuff like that. And basically what he's been able to do is through the use of very clever what's the technique called? You know, Christ almighty, what's it called? Shout it out to me, chat. What's it called? The gene sequencing where you can unzip and rezip. PCR. That's it. So there you go. Yeah, the polymerase chain reaction. He does things like that to amplify DNA, and then he will take that DNA and he can chop it into its constituent parts, and he can take bits, sequences of DNA from other proteins, from other animals, from other viruses, from other bacteria. He can add it to his own sequence, and then he will take like what's known as a plasmid, which is a ring of DNA. You can inject your gene sequence into that DNA, right? By sort of inject, like you have to do this process where you take like an E. coli virus, for example. E. coli bacteria, sorry, and it's like a shock treatment. You sort of, I don't know which way round you do it, but I don't know whether it's you warm them up first or you cool them down first. But either way, whichever you do it, like one after the other, and it causes some of the and so you've got the DNA mixed in with the solution with the bacteria, and when you do this shock treatment, some of the bacteria through osmosis like absorb the DNA into their system, and it completely replaces the DNA that they had there. So and you can check for this, because usually what you'll do is you'll put a antibiotic resistant gene in there. Then that way you're easily able to isolate the genome that you want, and all the ones that you don't want will die off because you will have given them antibiotics. So the ones that have taken on the new plasmid that you wanted to, they will sort of like, they will not die when given antibiotics or certain types of antibiotics. But all the other ones who haven't taken that plasmid on, they won't survive. So you can easily isolate that one specific creature or, bacteria or whatever that's got the new genome in it. So if you do that with a virus, you can then get the virus because that's how viruses work. They inject their DNA into your cells. And so that's what he did with this lactose gene therapy. And it seemed to work for him. Basically, he created this bacteria that he swallowed in a pill, and he was able to, it did something to his genes, which helped him, whatever the fucking gene is to do with lactose intolerance. He programmed this plasmid to, this bacteria to inject something into his genes that caused him to be less lactose intolerant. And it seemed to actually work. So there is some efficacy in, these experiments and the mRNA vaccine itself, or gene therapy, I should say. There is some, weight behind it. But what are the side effects? You know what I mean? It's like, I'm lactose intolerant, but now I'm aging at a fucking exponential rate. Every year I seem to get older quicker. You know what I mean? Maybe that's what he's starting to shrivel up now, because he ages more exponentially now, because he's given himself this gene treatment. We don't know, because there's not been enough testing on it. And it's exactly the same with this mRNA vaccine. So what they're saying here is like, the shots are a gene therapy, not a vaccine. Are you going to argue now with the inventor of the mRNA technique? So let's hear what they've got to say.
Do you have the exact definition where it went from? David, do you have the exact definition where it went from to what it became?
We have the inventor of mRNA vaccines sitting right to my right here. Robert? Is this vaccine or is it a gene therapy?
As I've said repeatedly, it came out of a gene therapy research program. These and the adenoviral vectors are absolutely gene therapy technology applied for the purpose of eliciting an immune response.
I don't care what the FDA says. There's your answer right there.
Okay, thanks. David, do you have the exact
Fair
definition
play
where-
to you, mate. I don't care what the FDA says. There's your answer right there. Right, so he did say that it was a viral vector, so they are using an inert viral vector to inject the gene sequence into your genes. That's not what a virus does. Sorry, that's not what a vaccine does. What a vaccine does is gives you an inert form of the virus that has its own sort of, non-manufactured. It wasn't manufactured in a lab, yeah? So they give you a small amount of inert virus of the type that they want to cure, and then your body has an immune response to it, right? What they are doing is injecting your gene, their programmed genes into your genes to elicit an immune response. And there is a wild difference there. Okay, so yeah, and this is the thing, what are the side effects? Because you're having your genes changed on a molecular level, on a DNA level. You are having your genes changed by taking this vaccine. So the side effects could be absolutely anything. You could start aging like the fucking guy out of, the Last Crusade. He takes a drink from the fucking cup, the wrong cup. You chose poorly. And that's it. You're a goner. No one knows because there hasn't been enough fucking testing. You're changing your genes with this vaccine. That's what it is. That's what it says there. You're changing your genes, your actual DNA. You're morphing them. That's left down to radiation in the atmosphere, yeah? That's why you differ from your parents, because of mutative genes that are usually mutated by cosmic rays, if you didn't know that. But there are cosmic rays that hit the earth all the time. And so when your dad and your mom copulate and their egg forms a zygote out of the two of you, as the genes are forming, they're also being bombarded with radiation all the time. And so the genes are constantly mutating. That's what you leave that for. That's nature. That's how humans grow. That's how humans evolve. Or that's how life evolves. Yeah? I mean, that's another thing. People don't seem to understand what evolution is. They think that evolution is survival of the fittest. It's well, yes and no. Survival of the fittest means that there was a bug, let's say, and when it had babies that had this stripe down its back, or it had some babies that had a stripe down its back, and this was the same for a few insects all around the world, that this same mutation happened, yeah? And it just so happened that the ones with stripes down their backs tended to be able to disguise themselves more easily on the leaf that they were sitting on. And so predators couldn't see them, yeah? Which meant that they couldn't be pecked off the leaf. But the ones without the stripe, they stood out like a fucking sore thumb because they were just black, yeah, or whatever. And so the birds and the other predators, they knew precisely. And so that's how evolution happens. It is survival of the fittest, in a sense, but it's not. It's it was that specific mutation just did better throughout time. It was hunted less by its predators because of its camouflage, or you know, it had to overcome a problem that was over, like humans and apes and stuff like that. We got opposable thumbs. The reason why we survived is because it was better for people with opposable thumbs. They were able to survive more than people who, you know, had hooves or whatever. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying that there were like human type creatures with hooves. But what I am saying is that, you know, it worked out for humans that opposable thumbs was the better thing for us, and so that line survived more than the other line. And because that line survived more of those people copulated, which caused more of that gene to be produced. But you still see people born with like 6 toes on a foot or 6 fingers on a hand. What, saying that that isn't the next step of evolution? But evolution is artificial now anyway, and especially when we're going to start injecting ourselves with gene editing therapies. Okay? Gene editing therapies that are created in a lab by scientists, sequenced by guys like this guy, yeah? This dude here, right? Let's just take a quick look at him.
I've spent the last several, probably a little over a couple of weeks at this point, growing a virus that codes for a functional copy of the lactase enzyme, because I am very lactose intolerant. So this is the final product. I had to package it into 3 pills because that was what I could get the microcrystalline cellulose to fit into, because it's kind of damp. I'm a little worried because I am allergic to penicillin, and we use penicillin in the media. So I've got some Benadryl, so I'm going to take 2 of these, and then all of these, and the idea is these will open up in my stomach, release the virus, and then the virus will go into my intestinal lining and give me a functional copy of the lactase enzyme. Okay.
Right, so I'm not going to go any further than that, but you see what I'm talking about, right? That dude, yeah, did it in his home lab. He created a virus that he created a gene sequence that was able to be injected into a virus that is then going to inject that gene sequence into him and alter his DNA so that he is no longer lactose intolerant. He's editing his genes. And it was just him. Well, I'm sure he might have had a little bit of help from other people, but it's literally, he did it in his home. He did it in his like fucking kitchen. His kitchen lab. Imagine if Niall Red did something like... Niall Red does things like this all the time, but with chemistry. And now he's upgraded to a massive fucking lab. Yeah? But originally, he used to do all those chemistry experiments in his kitchen or in his garage, whatever. And that's what this guy's doing. mRNA gene editing therapy. And that's what these... If it's so easy for him to do it, imagine what the best scientists that the government has to offer can do for you. Maybe they can edit a few other genes whilst they're in there. Yeah? It's not just mRNA editing your genes to elicit immune response for the virus. Maybe they want to make you produce less testosterone, produce more estrogen. Maybe they want to, cause cancers within 20 years. Who knows? Maybe they know how to do that. And they didn't tell you that that's what was on the label. You know what I mean? Or that they didn't put it on the label that that's what one of the side effects was. And they knew that it was going to happen. I mean, I wouldn't put it past any of our governments now to lie to us on that scale, to manipulate us on that scale. I genuinely wouldn't put it past them. I do not trust the government as far as I could fucking spit. Wouldn't trust them to make a fucking sandwich, as Heels versus Babyface says. All of you fucking mudbloods out there. You were sold a lie. And so that like died suddenly. Yeah, I've got no doubt about it. You edited your genes. You edited your fucking genes. What does this one say? So just to be clear, a year ago, there weren't thousands of children being mass diagnosed with heart conditions. Athletes in perfect condition weren't dropping dead suddenly from cardiac arrest. Stillborn and miscarriage rates had not skyrocketed, and babies were not being born with heart conditions and blood clots. The system is about to attempt to normalize all of these no longer rare occurrences, just like they've normalized autism, ADHD, and SIDS. The wolf in sheep's clothing reveals itself. Pray for humanity as we awaken to the crimes against humanity. And yeah, I mean, no offense or anything, but this needs to be Nuremberg 2. Genuinely, Nuremberg 2, here we come. Because this is a crime against humanity. You purposely misled the public. You've scaremongered them into believing that they needed this, and now people are dying because of taking it. Okay? That's the simple matter of fact. And you can say, well, you've got no hard proof about that. And it's like, no, do you know what? I haven't got any hard proof about that. But we didn't have any hard proof about, you know, what was going on at Twitter and the shadow banning and the collusion with the government. But we do now, don't we? It's just because someone was willing to stand up and out everything. We know now. It's like, well, I've got no proof, but I know that it's going on. I can just, I can read between the lines. I know it's going on. I see through your bullshit. Oh, well, you got no hard proof of that. No, I don't, but I know it's happening. It's like Tom Cruise being gay. I've got no proof, but I know it's true. That's a little Bill Maher sketch, that is. But it's true. Anyway, here's a hashtag that's trending in the United Kingdom at the moment. Greggs, let's have a look then, because Greggs is a pastry shop. Let's see. Greggs socks. Are you mad? What's a Lewis Capaldi? Oh, okay. That's why they're trending. Look, when I go into Greggs for a pie, I don't need to know what your fucking pronouns are, okay? I don't need to know what your sexual preference is. I don't need to know what your pronouns are. I don't need to know what your gender is. I come in and I say, white coffee and a sausage roll, please. You say, do you want anything else? I say, no, just want to scan my app. Okay, whenever you're ready, please. Thanks. How will you be paying today? By card, please. Thank you. Okay, that'll be £3, whatever the fuck it is. Thanks. See you later. That's it. That's the limit of Greg's interaction. I don't need to know what your fucking pronouns are. Greg's to introduce pronoun badges, including for neo-pronouns such as z, zir, or zirs as part of their pledge, which are all just fucking made up anyway, that don't exist. You're just fucking trying to remain relevant in a world where you aren't. To reflect the communities we serve, except it doesn't reflect our community's view at all. Most people think this sort of thing is totally insane. Yes, and I'm one of those fucking people who thinks that is totally fucking insane, because I'm going in to order a fucking pie and a coffee, okay? That's all I'm going in there for, food and a coffee. Don't need to know your life story. Don't need to know your gender pronouns. Don't need to know any of that shit. Yeah, don't care. You live you. You do you, babe. Yeah? You do whatever the fuck you want. I don't need to know any of that shit. If I need to really refer to you as anything, I can say they. But I probably won't, because if you look like a bird, yeah, I'm going to call you a she. And if you look like a bloke, I'm going to call you a he, because that's what fucking smart, reasonable people fucking do. They look at a person, they see if they are male or female, and they go he or she. Only lunatics, deluded fucking assholes, only stupid fucking irrelevant cunts go Z or Zers or demon self or dragon self or cat self. You fucking loonies. Okay, enough is enough on this. Let's stop humouring these people. Let's stop encouraging mental health disorders, yeah? Let's fuck this all off. Out of society. It needs to go. Out of society now. Go away. See you later. Bye-bye. You're stupid. You're stupid fucking pronouns. Who gives a shit? Stop pretending to be someone you are not. Okay? However you feel on the inside is up to you. But I do not have to fucking agree with you. Okay? If you look like a bird, I'll call you a bird. If you look like a bloke, I'm going to call you a bloke. And if that misgenders you, tough fucking shit. I don't care. Okay? I don't fucking care. It's insane. It's lunacy. And we are constantly fucking enabling this shit. He or she. Him or her. That's it. 2 genders. No more. The rest are fucking made up, fucking part of an ideological fucking rhetoric, okay? You're all lunatics and you need mental health fucking help. That's simple. Fucking time wasters. Yeah, look at me, I got pronouns. Fuck your pronouns. No one gives a shit about your pronouns. You're a misogynist, you're a transphobe. Why? Why? Because I don't fucking agree with pronouns. Yeah, I should be able to be whatever I want. You can. You can be fucking whoever you want. I just don't have to agree with you. Okay? That's what it comes down to. Personal fucking choice. You've got the personal choice to call you whoever you want. I have the personal choice to call you a fucking wanker. Okay? Whether your feelings are hurt or not. I can call you whatever the fuck I like. And the majority of you act like fucking wankers. Self-entitled little bitches. That's what you act like. Self-entitled little bitches. You're irrelevant. Just like me. You're no more relevant than I am. Stop trying to be relevant in a world where you aren't. Fucking time wasters. Why is a bit topical? Why is Marcus Aurelius trending? Ah, it's Marcus Aurelius quotes. Yes, exactly. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to think, to enjoy, to love. If it's not right, do not do it. If it's not true, do not say it. For let your impulse be your own power. Yep, words to live by. Words to live by. something I might mention about like the whole Twitter files thing. Do you think that if just Julian Assange and Chelsea Manning and Edward Snowden, do you think if they had the money that Elon has, that they would be in jail right now? I mean, or on the run? Because it's pretty much the same thing, isn't it? Elon is outing the collusion with a public, a publicly traded company in order to stem the flow. Like, it's treason. It's straight up treason against the people. Straight up treason against the country. It goes against everything your founding father said. But yet, although he's said that his life is in considerable danger, he's not being hunted for prison though, is he? Julian Assange is. Chelsea Manning is. Fucking, Edward Snowden is. And all they have done is exactly the same thing as what Elon Musk has done. So why aren't they going after Elon Musk? That's something you might want to ask yourself. Because I'm not really trustworthy. I'm not completely 100% trustworthy of Elon Musk. But you've got to ask yourself that question. He's done exactly the same as them. Why is it that he's not being arrested for treason himself? Because that's what they're being hunted for. National security risk. Rigged? Crazy how it wasn't a rigged World Cup. When Argentina lost to Saudi. Cry more. I don't understand what it did. Oh, look at that. No, I don't know much about football, but...
Coming towards him. But Peter, what you're saying... The progress of the player coming towards him. But Peter, what you're saying...
Yeah, look, I don't know much about football, but what I do know is that your feet are not allowed to come up above waist height. That's a penalty. Okay? That's a penalty. I don't know. Well, there don't seem to be much more trending. Let's just take a look at the home screen, see what's going on. Lotus Eaters, Daily Wire, Sydney Watson. Oh, yeah. Okay. There's this thing that pisses me off. All you meme makers out there, yeah? All you meme makers, right? So I'm kind of... I guess I'm directly addressing the Legion of Memers and all of those guys, right? I got great respect for the fucking work you do. You really, 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 really funny. And, like programs like Shagsworth and Nina Infinity, Friday Night Tights, Heel versus Babyface, Real BBC, all of those shows, you add a great amount to it. One thing that pisses me off that you do, and some of you don't, but a lot of you do, one thing that pisses me off, you put your fucking name on there, you put some watermark on there. Why? Is it so no one else uses it? Is it so that no one else can use that meme in their own meme or something? Or is it because you want people to know that you made the meme? Is that what it is? That you see, for me, memes are free. Yes, they come from someone's intellectual property, you know what I mean? Like, they come from the mind of someone, the creator, you know, you put a bit of time and effort into thinking about the joke and putting it into images. I'm not saying that that isn't creative and that you don't deserve some kind of recognition for that. But if you tweet it on your channel, you know, on your page, or if you put it out on YouTube or whatever it is, on your channel, surely that's the recognition right there. You're the first one to post it. And if other people post that meme, then so be it. It came from you. You know that. You know deep in your heart you did that work. And if someone else tries to claim that they made that meme, you can always throw it back and say, well, no, I made it. And I can prove it because I was the first person to post it. You prove to me that you posted that meme before I did, and I'll agree that you made it. But you won't be able to because I posted it first. If it ever gets that far, I mean, that's pretty fucking petty level of memery. Do you know what I mean? That's like the dark side of memery, I guess, like people who are really petty like that. But I don't know where you get off putting your fucking name on a meme that you made out of pictures that belong to someone else. Okay, all of the artwork that you usually get from other places, and then you Photoshop it all together. Like that one there, yeah, it's got Nina Infinity's face cleverly superimposed on there, yeah? Is it Nina Infinity? It looks like her. But anyway, it's a good meme, yeah? Not saying it's not. But you fucking... your name's all over it. Why? If it is because you don't want other people to use the meme that you made, where'd you get off on that? You made your meme from other people's fucking work. You made your meme out of like photographs that you've cut and edited, and then you got the gall to slap your fucking name across the front of it in big fucking watermark letters so that everyone knows that it was you who made it. Oh, and no one else can use this now because you've put your big fucking watermark over it. That's petty. That's really, really, really petty. It's beneath you. If you're making memes of that quality, why are you that petty? Genuinely, you sound like a reasonable... Like anyone who can make memes like that and has got the know-how to use the software and is the intelligence to do that, why do you feel the need for fame like that, or to stop other people from using materials that you've now claimed as your fucking own, even though you got it from somewhere else? That's cheeky. It's a double standard is what it is. So don't put your name all over memes. You post them. You can see where they came from. People can see where they came from. You know, you do your little tag, that Legion of Memers, you know, whatever it is, you Friday Night Tights, hashtag Friday Night Tights, hashtag Legion of Memers, you know. I'm not just picking on the Legion of Memers, I'm picking on anyone who puts their fucking name on a meme. Anyone who put I mean, all right, come on, like a tiny one down in the bottom right hand corner or something like that where it's non-invasive. Yeah, that's a completely different story. I still don't agree with it, but that's a completely different story. One big fucking thing right over the middle of the fucking page, you don't need to do that. You're either clout chasing or you're trying to stop people from using your work, which is hypocritical because you took your work from somewhere else. Okay. Sorry if you don't like that. Like I said, I've got a load of respect for the work that you do. I find your memes really funny. But you know, stop being so fucking narcissistic. You don't own that meme. Because, do you know why? Because memes are usually born as well. Memes are usually born out of a collective community understanding of a joke. You make the meme because people will get it, okay? And you had the idea because of the entire fucking community. Yeah? You had the idea because you thought of a joke that your community, that specific community, that specific situation that they were talking about on that show right there and then, you memed it. You made it even funnier. Great work. You're part of the community and everyone can see that it's you who did it. Don't slap your fucking name over the middle of it so people are forced... oh, all right, it was you. Okay, great. Oh, great. It was a funny meme. It'll be forgotten tomorrow. Don't need to slap your name all over it. And like I said, if you're doing it because you don't want other people to use your meme, then you are going against what it means to meme. Because you are using other people's work in order to make your meme. And they aren't putting their fucking name in big fucking letters across it, are they? It's narcissism. So don't be so fucking narcissistic. You don't need everyone to know that it was you who made the meme. Just appreciate everyone laughing at it and clicking the like button. Yeah? And then if someone wants to come along and meme your meme, then they can. Yeah? And if they're any kind of memer, what they'll do is they'll say, they'll credit you. They'll put in them. It wasn't my original meme. It's like a rehash of something else by X, by such and such a person. But they were the first, because, you know, honor among thieves, that sort of thing. They said there's no honor among thieves. Well, we're not thieves, are we? And apparently you've got some fucking Legion code. It's the Legion Code Authority. You know what I mean? So maybe write that into your code, that if you take material from other sources, maybe you ought to credit it. Or I don't know, but just I don't think that you should be slapping your fucking name all over the middle of a meme. In one way, it's either narcissistic, or the second way, it's hypocritical. Because you either want everyone to know that it was you, whoop-de-fucking-do, or you don't want anyone else to use your meme, which completely goes against what should be in the code. So there you go. Anyway, like I said, got a lot of respect for you boys and girls and boys, but, you know, you don't need to be so narcissistic. Wow, Jordan B. Peterson got 6 million subscribers. I got fucking 21. 21. That's all I've got is 21. Oh my God. Why? I don't get this, right? So the quarter saying prove it. Also, nice Ukraine flag in the bio. Very brave. So this Martin Varasavsky is saying, I used to be proud of my Tesla, but now that at Elon Musk, far-right conspiracy theorist spreader and bully of public health authorities, I am embarrassed to be seen as endorsing him. Also sold my Tesla shares. Some people will hug the ball and chain that they've been freed from. Do you understand what I'm saying, boys and girls? Some people will sit there and hug the ball and chain, not ever wanting to leave it. It's been on their legs so long that now that they are free, that they don't want to leave it alone. Okay? That's one of those fucking people there. They're so indoctrinated. Yeah? They're so indoctrinated that they think that someone calling out medical misinformation, calling out fucking medical professionals who have destroyed the fucking planet, basically, destroyed society with their lies. They're calling them out. But apparently, no, Elon Musk is far right conspiracy theorist peddling. Right, guys, it's not a conspiracy theory anymore. He's showing it to. He's not a conspiracy theory. This isn't. It's not like Elon Musk is saying, oh, this might have happened at Twitter. No, what he's saying is, here is the proof. Here are the emails. Here are the communications. This happened. This is actual fact, not a conspiracy. Okay? So you can sell your Tesla shares and fuck off back to wherever in your non-Tesla car, on your bus, I guess. You can fuck off. Because all the sane, reasonable people know that you are doomed. Like, all the people like me know that people like you are doomed. Because you are sheep. You are just fucking sheep. You will follow the herd anywhere. You will follow the rhetoric anywhere. You will listen to your masters implicitly. Even when the evidence is shown to you in black and white, you are, by all kinds of fucking similes and descriptions that I could give you, you are plantation Uncle Toms. Okay? That's what you guys are. You are plantation Uncle Toms. Okay? There, I said it. All you dumb people. You are dumb. You're really dumb. For real. Like, genuinely. You are just fucking dummies. And we know it. We know you're dumb by the things that you say that come out of your mouth, that come off your fingers on the keyboard. We can tell that you're dumb just from the things that you say. And we give you a wide berth because we know that there's no changing your fucking mind. You are so dumb. And remember, 50% of the population are even dumber than that. Just remember that. Do it. Just do it. I don't care how many times people use a fucking private jet. Okay, it's the fastest way to travel. It's more convenient than, airlines. Private jet, go for it. Lawyers for Justice Ireland. Okay. Protesters gathered at 5 p.m. this evening in, what's that? Clondalkin. In Clondalkin to, I'm probably saying it wrong, to voice their strong objection to the state's mass immigration policy whilst homeless Irish are dying on our streets. The people of Ireland are rising. Yeah, and I'm telling you, the world needs to rise up. Now is the time. We are the people. We are the ones who need to stand up to them. We need to hold them accountable. People have got it the wrong way around. They think that they control us and we control them. We have to take back that control that they have made us believe that we do not have. We have the power. We are the people. We are above them. We can do more. We just are not. We're being complacent about it. Please, people, I'm asking you everywhere, stand up. Enough is enough now. Yeah, that's a good point. I remember when we had a working NHS, free university education, public libraries, an integrated national railway service, and subsidised bus fares. We had these things, they were normal, and they were taken away from us by the same people who are now calling such things impossible. It's beautifully it I'm sorry, I had to stop there. I can hear someone shouting outside. I don't know what it was. Just sound like a couple of football lads, chanting. Right. What time is it? All the ducks, 22:22. We'll just take a look at this hashtag unvaccinated. Let's take a quick look. Trudeau believes in order to be treated equally, you have to inject spike proteins into your body that can cause blood clots and myocarditis. Millions of Canadians agree with me when I say Trudeau is an evil maniac who should be in prison. Look, I'm warming it up. I swear to God, it's like Mick Hucknall. If ever I saw Mick Hucknall in the street, I don't know if I'd be able to, control myself. If ever I saw him in Birmingham City Centre, I don't know if I'd be able to control myself and not plant, fate. I mean, Birmingham City Centre in Minecraft. I don't know how I wouldn't be able to high five him in the face. He's such a smug, arrogant cunt, and he's fucking useless. He's a fucking useless, weak, piss weak prime minister. He's just a soy boy. He's a fucking WEF puppet. He is everything that everyone is saying about him right now. He's a nobody. He's a nothing. And he needs to be just fucking scraped off the bottom of your shoe and into the fucking bin. Just get him out of Parliament by any means necessary. He is another war criminal. No, not war criminal, but, what do they say? Crimes against humanity. What I mean, like, because if it's peacetime, it's not war crimes, is it? So, peace crimes. There's crimes then. He's a fucking criminal. Yeah. Just a reminder, a genuinely deadly pandemic doesn't require 24/7 advertising to remind you it exists. Real pandemics don't need marketing campaigns and endless propaganda, but psychological operations do. And it is totally a psyop. I've already told you before. It's a complete psyop. The simple fact that only 7% of the world's population have even caught the fucking virus, yeah? 7% of the entire world have even caught the virus, which means 93% of the world have not even caught the virus yet. And it was something like 0.008% of the world have died from it. Now, when you go and break it down onto a country by country basis, for example, the UK, it was 35% of the entire UK have caught the virus, which means that 65% of the population are still to catch it, and only 0.25, maybe we'll push it to 0.3%, not even a percent, not even 1%. It's less than half of a percent, just slightly more than a quarter of a percent, let's say. 1% of the, less than 1% of the country have died from COVID. You're telling me it's not a psyop? It is definitely a psyop. This was all planned. I changed my mind on it. This was all planned. This one says the vax is to reduce population. Sex reassignment is to reduce population. After birth abortion. After birth abortion. After birth abortion. That's just murder. After birth. You can't abort a baby after it's been born. That's murder. Well, I mean, I guess it's murder either way you look at it. You know, to some people it definitely is. You know, if you get an abortion, it's murder. Planned Parenthood is to reduce the population. Nearly every government program is designed to reduce the population. Get the picture? Yeah, and not only that. Something that I want you guys to sort of take into account with all of this. All of the people that it really could have killed, it did kill. And the majority of them were old people. Now, if they were purposely trying to reduce the population, you do it with the ones that are putting the least effort in and draining the economy most. Do you get what I mean? You get rid of those people. But at the same time, it's killed two birds with one stone. Because how do you indoctrinate a new generation of children when there are people still around who remember what it used to be like years ago? Because my nan used to tell me stories of the way that things, you know, and obviously your families instill, like, you know, ages old traditions, family traditions, and etc. into you. That's what happens when you're growing up. You know, you sort of absorb your family traditions and you absorb your family pre-knowledge. How are you supposed to educate a future generation when there are... how are you supposed to re-educate a new generation when there are people still around who remember what it used to be like? So, you get rid of all the old people who know all the stories, and then you outcast all the ones that are like left over, yeah, by calling them, you know, fucking names and that if they disagree with you. Because like people like me who remember traditional ways, who remember traditional things, who are calling out this gender nonsense, this climate change nonsense, this vaccine nonsense, all of these things are being called out by people like me who remember an older time when this didn't happen, and I'm being sort of, you know, villainized because of my thoughts and opinions. And it was what I was brought up to believe, and it was what I was brought up, it was what I was raised and what was instilled into me. My parents and my grandparents did a good job raising me. I am awake. I don't mean I'm woke, I mean I'm awake to the world. And I'm fearful that there are now not enough older people to pass on those stories to a younger generation. Maybe I should make a video about that. Some of the, or maybe, make it a regular section. Stories my nan told me. Just to keep the spirit alive. I don't know. Anyway, it's 10:30 here, boys and girls. So I think I'm going to end the stream. I'd like to thank you for joining me if you've been here. Well, it looks like my chat bot managed to get the sexy ladies, but the sexy ladies are in the the chat filter. So just hide those little buggers. Yes, hide them. But yeah, I am going to end the stream here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining me. This has been a very interesting Tuesday night broadside. If you have enjoyed the content, don't forget you can join me next Tuesday for another broadside at 7 o'clock Greenwich Mean Time. I know I've been threatening to do some game streams, etc. Over the past few weeks, and I do really intend to do it. I have also been putting out some videos from previous streams that I've chopped up. I've also been making some shorts as well. So go to the channel, check them out. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe, get the notification bell, and hopefully you'll be told when I'm going live and when I've put a video out. Until then, though, boys and girls, thank you so much for joining me. It was a pleasure entertaining you. And until next time, I will see you soon. Good night. Take care, everybody.